126 matches played, 423 goals. 9 times Manchester United and Chelsea have swapped the lead at the top of the WSL table. And you know what? It still comes down to today.
Liverpool have beaten Chelsea, the reigning champions. United looking imperious so far this season. Eric Cuthbert, a crucial win for Chelsea.
It is a red letter day for Manchester United.
The gap from the top gets bigger.
This could be another significant goal in the title race once again.
The Reds go marching on.
The champions return to the top of the table, 2 points clear of Manchester United.
Job done for Chelsea. Over to you, Manchester United.
Garcia! The title race goes to the final day.
Manchester United arrive knowing their fate is not in their hands. If Chelsea beat Reading this afternoon, then the WSL title is theirs. But any slip-up from the Blues and a Manchester United victory today would see them win their first ever major trophy. Their opponents are back in the WSL after a 2-year spell in the Championship. The 2014 champions have had a mixed campaign, but having already beaten both Chelsea and Manchester City at home this season, they'd love to upset their Northwest rivals today. And 200 miles south of us, Chelsea are at the Select Car Leasing Stadium. A draw or win against bottom of the table Reading would see them crowned WSL champions for the 5th time in 6 years. Okay, confirmation of how things stand. 2 points separate Chelsea and Manchester United at the top of the table. Only a Chelsea loss and a Manchester United win would see the Red Devils emerge victorious. Otherwise, it's another WSL trophy heading for South West London. At the bottom of the table, Reading need to pull off the shock of this season and beat the holders to avoid relegation, whilst also hoping Leicester drop points away at Brighton. So, here we go. For the final time, it's Liverpool against Manchester United, live from Prenton Park. In kickoff is just under 30 minutes time. And I'm delighted to be in the company of Farrah Williams and Siobhan Chamberlain for what has been a dramatic, unpredictable season. But actually, Farrah, I was on the way up this morning and I was thinking about 2014 WSL campaign. Cast your mind back, do you remember that one and why that one was so dramatic?
I can't forget it, Alex. It was the second title I'd won here at Liverpool, and we went into the last game of the season in 3rd place, no pressure to win a WSL title for the 2nd time on the bounce. Chelsea were above us, Birmingham were above us, and everything went our way on that day. Birmingham drew 2-2, and Manchester City beat Chelsea. And you know, the only disappointing thing about that day, Alex, was the trophy wasn't at.
It was on the way.
It was at Widnes, so we was at Widnes at the time, Liverpool, and we just didn't have a trophy to pick up. So we were celebrating for hours before the trophy actually arrived.
But Sayo, that's just summing up that anything can actually happen. The fact that it's all still to play for today.
It is. That's exactly what we want. We want the title to go down to the wire. We want relegation to go down to the wire. I'm sure Reading and Leicester fans won't be saying that today, but that's what the fans want. They want that anticipation, that excitement, everything to go down to that final game, everything that you've worked for.
Well, Farrah Williams also just forgot to mention she scored a penalty on that final day of the season.
Yeah, I didn't want to boast too much. Yeah, I did.
It's all right, we'll save that for later. But look, Manchester United kept things alive, doing Manchester United things like they've done all season, scoring in the last minute during last weekend's game, Farrah.
You know what, Alex, when I was watching this, I thought Manchester City, for 10 players for much of the game, I thought they did a fantastic job. And when they scored this goal, Garcia, I was like, he's got Fergie's watch on. This referee's got Fergie's watch on, because this, for Man United fans, something that they're so used to, and the women have become so used to this season, scoring those late winners, that has really, put them in the position they're in today.
Yeah, and Sayo, when we talk about, the use of your squad, Mark Skinner has shown that this season, because Garcia coming on, 12th sub this season that's come on and scored a goal for him.
She's been brilliant, and she's one of the players that a lot of the fans have been saying, I want to see her starting, I want to see her getting an opportunity from the beginning. But you've got to utilise them the right way, and for Mark Skinner it might be, she's better when she comes in off the bench because she's scoring goals for me. Rachel Williams is another one. She's been utilised really well from the bench and she's scored lots of goals. And you need that. Yes, they've got Alessia Rousseau and Leah Galton that have scored lots of goals this season. But if you can count on the rest of your squad as well, it's a fantastic place to be.
Yeah, Mark Skinner looking very serious there, Farrah.
It's focused. I'm sure he'll tell you it's focused, Alex. He's not a serious guy. He seems on the outside, I guess, intense, but he's just such a great coach. Players that I've spoken to that have worked under Mark just say how good he is. So it says something about him.
He said he feels that his team deserve more credit for what they've done this season.
I think they've had progress. They've shown progress, Alex. They finished, they can potentially win the league today if things go their way down at Chelsea and Reading. But in terms of, missing out on Champions League spot on the last day of the season last year, to already be guaranteed Champions League football next year, and you reached an FA Cup final, that's progress for the club. But I think from an outsider looking in, the club like Man United, and because they sat at the top for so long, people will see that as a failure, and they should have done more in the position they were in, and they probably let points go where they shouldn't have along the way.
Okay, well, I tell you who else deserves some credit is their club captain, Katie Zellum, who has been here from the start, and she has seen it all. She's been speaking to Maz Faruqi.
Katie Zellum, Manchester United captain, joining us pre-match here. Katie, it's been a dramatic last couple of weeks, the FA Cup final, that stoppage time winner on Sunday night in the Manchester derby. I mean, it's been a roller coaster ride, hasn't it, really, the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, to be honest, the whole season, I think we started it off at the Emirates with the last-minute winner there, and it's kind of gone from there, really. I think it shows the character we've got in the team to keep digging deep late into games, and hopefully the results will go our way today.
Yeah, because regardless of what you do today, you've got to win and obviously hope that Chelsea slip up against Reading. But whatever happens, how proud are you of the progress and the kind of football that your side have played this season?
Yeah, I'm so proud. I'm one of few players that's been here the whole 5 years of Manchester United, and to be in the Championship 5 years ago, to competing for the league on the last day of the season now is incredible. I think, especially since Mark come in, the team's really come on leaps and bounds, and you can see that in our performances.
And you've made the next step as well this season, qualifying for Europe. You're in the Champions League next season. So I guess as well, that's important as well, to take momentum into next season with a win and a good performance today here as well.
Yeah, 100%. Our aim was always to be in the Champions League places, and second is brilliant. For us, we want to win every game regardless of the results, and like you said, take it into next year.
Well, Katie, all the best this afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Good luck in the game.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, a reminder that all 12 clubs are in action today with 2:30 kickoffs. It's 8th versus 9th as West Ham host Tottenham. Manchester City will be hoping to avoid a third defeat in a row at home against Everton. And a win for Leicester today versus Brighton will secure them WSL action next season. Third place Arsenal welcome Aston Villa, and it's bottom versus top as Reading host holders Chelsea. And actually, wherever the trophy is being lifted today, we have you covered. It's all a team game, isn't it, Farah and Sayo? And we've got a team for you over at the Reading-Chelsea game. Joe Curry and Anita Asante are there.
Well, the sun is shining here in Berkshire, so we're certainly happy. In terms of the mood, well, I think that probably depends on who you are supporting today. Chelsea fans are arriving here hoping to see their side lift the title trophy. As for Reading fans, well, they'll be bracing themselves for potential relegation. But Anita Asante, former Chelsea defender, we need to start off by talking about your former club, because they're now just 90 minutes away from a 4th consecutive WSL title. How impressive could that be?
Extremely impressive, especially off the back of this season where they've not had a fit Fran Kirby, missing Millie Bright, large parts of the season not had Pernilla Harder, and they've come together as a team. You've seen players like Guru Wrighton really stepping up this year, Sam Kerr scoring goals, and for Emma, she's got to feel, really proud of what they've achieved this season with such a tightly run contest for the title.
Their form, particularly in the last month, has been described as Terminator-esque. They've been relentless, they've been ruthless, and they've managed to do it in games when they're not even playing particularly well. How do they always find a way to win? Because essentially that's how trophies are won come the end of the season, aren't they?
Well, this team is a successful machine, There's players that want to play at on the biggest stage. They want to play for their places in the team, and I think the way they've done it is with their mental resilience. Lots of people have referred to them as mentality monsters, but they just find a way, and they'll continue to do and work hard doggedly for 90 plus minutes to make sure that they're the team that come out on top.
Yeah, monsters and machines are probably good ways to describe Chelsea. We have to talk about Reading though, because they know that if Chelsea win, then they are relegated. It's a bit like planning for a wedding and a wake here today. We could have both. But if you are a Reading player about to step out onto this pitch, playing potential champions to be, what's going through your mind?
Yeah, there'll be nerves for sure. I've been in this position when I was with Villa in a relegation battle, but at the same time they'll know that they have nothing to lose. They have to come out here and leave everything on the pitch and fight for every moment in the game to give themselves a chance, because what's the worst thing that can happen is that you haven't taken the opportunity that's in your control, and that's today's game. They can't worry about what's going on around them. What matters is them trying to give themselves a chance and get a result, a win here today.
Well, we will soon find out. Anita, thank you so much for your thoughts. I'll let you go and grab an ice cream. Now, though, we can hear the thoughts of both managers.
There's so many leaders in that dressing room. They know what they need to do. I think for us, we just have to manage, of course, the emotions stepping out. It's the final game of the season. There's something to play for, and you want to be in that position, right? So we're happy to be in with the chance of trying to win the league today.
You're going to have to earn this, aren't you, today?
Oh, 100%. I think you only have to look at Chelsea's team and the players that they've gone with. They've probably gone with what I would say is their strongest 11 today, because at the end of the day, they want another title under their belt. But yeah, look, for us, it's about making sure we try and make it as difficult as possible, but making sure that we stay in the game. We need to make sure we stay in the game, and then, look, who knows what will happen.
Yeah, it's great to hear from both managers there. Thought you was going to save me from that ball behind me there, Faz. Look, we need to give credit to Chelsea, Sayo, because going for their 5th title in 6 seasons, it's incredible. And Emma Hayes has been speaking about this season that they do feel like they've had a target on their back.
You will do. When you're champions, everyone wants to beat you. Everyone raises their game. But for me, this has probably been, if they win it, Chelsea's hardest title to win, because other teams have stepped it up and they haven't been playing at their best. For Chelsea to not be playing at their best and still be in with the shout on the last day of the season to go out there and win this title is credit to Emma Hayes, credit to her squad, and the way they continue to progress and continue to develop the team.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Farah, when you look at that Chelsea squad, I mean, it's name after name after name, superstars. So I'm going to put this on you, though. Which one has stood out for you the most this season?
Here we go. I think presenters love to put it on me because they know I'm quite honest with my opinion. You know what? They've had some really good standout players. Cuthbert and Ingle in particular were good, but for me, it's this two, Guru Wrighton and Sam Kerr. I think their link-up and the consistency of the link-up has been key to Chelsea's success this year. I asked the question, do they work on this in training? Do they know each other's movement? I just think they're both really clever players. I think Guru knows that Sam Kerr's going to make those movements on the unselfish runs, and she puts it into good areas. But this is where their consistency comes. It's this dink pass to the back post where Guru Wrighton knows Sam Kerr will arrive for you. Put it into an area, Sam Kerr will work the back shoulders of centre-half, you can see it here, and she can get up above any centre-half and score goals. And this is just another great delivery into a good area, and this time it's not with Sam's head, it's actually with her foot, which is very rare from a Guru Wrighton delivery. So their link up this season, I think the consistency of it is what has been a standout for me with this Chelsea team, Siobhan.
No, I completely agree, and I think she's been one of the most underrated players for the past couple of seasons. She's a player that always stands out for me, but sometimes it's easier to give the goal scorers the credit. Farah Williams, you'll know about that, won't you?
I didn't get any credit, I just supplied everybody.
Faz, I always gave you credit, you know I loved you.
Of course we did.
But look, you've got Sam Kerr, a superstar. She is staying at Chelsea next season, but they're speaking about departures, Harder, Eriksson, but Emma Hayes already looking to the future and rebuilding, Farah.
And this is why when people were saying, they really wanted Man United to win the league, they wanted them to win the FA Cup, I'm like, it's so difficult to do what Emma Hayes has done with this Chelsea team year on year, to come back and fight for titles, to come back and fight in the FA Cup finals, the Conti Cup final. It's a difficult task. Emma Hayes' preparation, and I'm on about the staff behind the scene that do the work, I'm on about her recruitment to bring the right players into the environment that she's already created, is a very difficult task. The fact she does it year on year is a credit to her and the players.
It is absolutely how she keeps rebuilding. Well, actually, the last time Chelsea were here at Prenton Park, it was Liverpool that managed to take all 3 points. Matt Beard will certainly be hoping the same happens here again against Manchester United. He's been speaking to Maz.
Matt, the season's already secure in terms of your status in the league, but final home game of the season, I guess really important to end on a positive, build some momentum into next season, particularly against some big local rivals as well.
Yeah, listen, we want to finish strong. We've been good at Prenton Park, especially second half of the season. You know, we've had a good year, I feel, and hopefully we can put in one last performance and send the fans away happy with 3 points.
Word on Katie Stengel, she's had a great season again for you. Really, really good performances. So consistent and such an important player for your team.
Yeah, definitely. She's done a lot of it by herself this year, especially after Christmas. We had a lot of injuries to the top end of the pitch. So, no, she's had a fantastic year. It's had to be a little bit unselfish over certain times as well. But no, she's had a great season, and you know, I guess she'd be looking forward to a break and going back home for the summer, and then we go again next year.
We're expecting probably 7,000-8,000 here today. You know, you've got a number of players departing at the end of the season. A good sort of farewell for them as well this game.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, they're always tough decisions, and you know, everyone that's leaving, you know, they're a big part of the group. So it's part of the game, and we wish them all the best for the future.
Matt, thanks for your time. Good luck for the game.
Thank you.
Yeah, Farah, just before we came on air, you went over and gave Matt Beard a big hug. It's great to see him back in the WSL after 2 seasons, but how do you think he is reflecting on the development, where they've come and how they move forward as a club?
Having played under Matt Beard, he wants to win every competition he enters. He's quite demanding in what he does. I think they're coming into the WSL too off the back of being in the Championship. They would have wanted to secure a place for another season in the WSL, so that would have definitely been a priority. But he's so ambitious. Finishing where they finish in the league, I think 7-8 isn't good enough for Liverpool as a football club as a whole. So I'm not surprised he's getting rid of some of the players that were here before he took over, and then he'll be looking to bring better players in that can compete a little bit further up the table with the likes of Aston Villa, for example, which is where I think Matt Beard and Liverpool see their club.
We'll look at the departures in just a moment, but one player that we need to focus on, Sayo, has been their main target, their striker, who has delivered time and time again for them this season.
She has been. You just heard Matt Beard speak about her then. Katie Stengel, she's been outstanding for them, and when she hasn't played, they've really missed her. She brings such a physical presence to the top half of the pitch. You see there as she presses Alex Greenwood, gives her no time, and a really clinical, tidy finish. But it's not just goals with her feet that she can score. You see here the movement in the box. Aerially, she's a physical presence. She gets good contact on the ball there and finishes. Here, her footwork again is brilliant. The way she turns defenders, she finds bottom corners and she's clinical. And then again, she makes it really difficult. You see how she pulls off the back shoulder. The movement of her is outstanding, and that's what enables her to score those goals. And they'll be looking for her today to get some goals for them today if they're going to win.
Yeah, movement is great. She's a phenomenal player, Farah, and she's going to need people around her. If, like what you just said, you're looking to build for the future, 7 departures already from this Liverpool side.
Yeah, she's certainly a key player within this Liverpool team, and she definitely needs players around her. I think to bring out the very best in her attributes. She's got a lot to her game, and as you mentioned there, she can make runs between centre halves. She can score goals from deliveries. She's a willing runner. She's a willing presser without the ball. She just needs people around her that can help her with that part of her game. Sometimes, especially when you play the better teams, she finds herself quite isolated. The last few games for Liverpool, though, they've seemed to have found a formation that actually suits her by putting somebody alongside her up front rather than her being up there on her own.
So that's a lot of departures, though, 7.
That is, but as Farah said before, since Matt Beard's come in, he wants to put his own stamp back on this team. He wants to make it his own. So players that were brought in beforehand, he wants a fresh start. You've got to kind of wait until their contracts are up, wait until it's the right time. But now it's his time to say, I'm going to use that money that I've got now from releasing those players to bring in players that I want, that fit my style of play, fit my formation and my football philosophy.
Yeah, well, we mentioned earlier that Mark Skinner has been saying that he feels his Manchester United side deserve more credit. So we sent Sarah Mulcairns along for a midweek chat with him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
Ready?
Yeah, cheers.
How are you finding your time here at Manchester United?
I mean, I love it. It's stressful, it's tiring, but it's wonderful, and it's something that, I often said when I came in, I feel privileged to be Manchester United manager, and I still feel that.
Title is still on the line, but not in your control. How do you approach a game like that?
I think try and take as much control as you can. So we are a team that is hungry to keep proving ourselves, to keep wanting to be successful. And look, my job is to drive them. I'm not here to accept anything but a very good performance against Liverpool.
Is the season a success for you?
Look, of course, it's a massive success. We've broken into a 3 that had not been broken into before. We've won games late, we've won them early, we've won them comfortably, we've scraped them. I think there's just so many experiences in there for us to learn from that will help us for next season. So yeah, look, it's a huge success, but that's hard to say because we still want more. So we still want to win titles and we still want to win cups and we still want to compete in Champions Leagues. I think we're just excited because we've done something we've never done before, so I want to credit everyone for that.
What was the difference this year for you, yourself as a manager, and also the team and how you approach the season in terms of making that breakthrough?
I design an environment that allows people to grow, and it expects them to bring themselves to the performance rather than me just tell them what to do. And then you fast forward now the end of this season and they've made big decisions in big moments. I've got to really focus on what we can do and achieve next with a very difficult campaign coming up next year, so we've got to recruit the right way. And if we do that, then look, I believe in this club to be the very biggest in this country for many years to come.
Who are the targets this summer? Where do you want to add to, even if you don't want to give me some names?
We're hoping to sign some excellent players that will push us on, but also to, just for a second, to recognise what the players here have achieved, because I think everybody looks at star names but they forget the journey that others are there making themselves. So I think there's a balance to be struck around signing a name versus signing a player that has potential that you see in a year's time is going to meet that.
It almost seems like, you know, this team is an underdog team and that suits you, but next season that will shift to, you know, balancing the pressure in a different way.
It's quite funny because we don't talk about being an underdog. Whenever we approach the big games, we approach them like we want to win them. So I feel that from the outside it looks that way maybe because we've not done it before, but we don't feel that. My teams have never been underdogs, I don't believe in it. We're a club that's super ambitious and I'm super ambitious, so we're hungry, and next year I'm going to make sure our players are even hungrier for success.
Sayo, I personally think people have been giving credit all season to this Manchester United team because they had the foundations when Casey Stoney was here, and what Mark Skinner has done is taken a promising team to actually make them challenge for a title, and they have talent. But in terms of him building, there's already rumours of maybe potentially losing big players. One of my favourites have been across this season in WSL is their right back Union, sorry.
No, I agree. I'm not a right back, but she's been my player of the season for Manchester United and will be in the team of the season by a million miles. She's been fantastic. The way she gets up and down for them, she's going to be priceless in terms of replacing her. So I really hope that they can sign her onto a new contract. But you see here, the way she drives forward with the ball, her combination play, the way she picks players out, I think that's been outstanding this season. The way she doesn't just whip a ball into the box. There, the dink, she picks the players out. Her vision is incredible. The way she sees players' runs time and time again is a purposeful delivery that finds the player at the right time to be able to finish.
I think what she is, Siobhan, is she's that modern-day fullback that likes to get in those advanced positions that actually creates an overload for Man United when they're higher up the pitch. And then you go, she has the end product along with that. And I think that's what's really key. Can they replace her if they are to lose her? I'm unsure because she's a fantastic young talent.
Yeah, she's brilliant, and she's one of the players that will be at the top of their list alongside another player, Alessia Russo, in trying to keep.
And another one person that they are going to be trying to keep, Farah, is a star lioness, a striker for Manchester United, Russo.
Yeah, and I think in terms of if they're talking about progressing and really kicking on this next season and really challenging, Russo is a player that is a must-keep for them. She's a goal scorer, she can create goals as well, she gets herself into really good positions here. She likes to play inside that 6-yard box, it's where she gets most of her goals from, but she can do other things within her game, which is really key. She scores from headers, she scores from distance, she also can link play. This is just a reaction goal. You can see she's the first to react quicker than any other of her teammates and quicker than any other defender. So if they are to progress, and as I say, if they are to really challenge on all fronts next season, she's a player they must keep.
Farah, I want to ask you a quick question though, because when you think about it, when Arsenal came in for her and Manchester United managed to keep her, but actually now you've come towards the end of the season, we're saying it's great you've kept her. We've come to the end of the season, you've got two of your major players out of contract. Potentially now, is that good business?
I think the business was good because they now have guaranteed themselves a Champions League spot for next year, which is more attractive if they are to replace her. If they hadn't guaranteed themselves a Champions League spot, then it's not attractive for Manchester United. So I think the fact they kept both of those players, at least until this point, it's more attractive, for top international players to want to sign for them.
And I suppose they are going to need that squad depth because Champions League football, more games across the season, Sayo.
Especially now it's got to the group stage, which we've seen this year. There are so many more games and you've got to be able to have that rotation of players, the rotation of squad. We've seen it with Chelsea this season. They've rotated really well. Arsenal have struggled a bit with injuries. But for Manchester United, if they're going to compete in the Champions League, they need to strengthen the squad.
OK, well, talking about Champions League, Farrah Williams, they need to take care of business here today first.
Yeah, they do. They know nothing less than 3 points from Man United, and they won't be concentrating on what's going further, on down the M40 at Reading. But they certainly know they need to do their job here against what's going to be a tough Liverpool team because they have something to prove to their fans here, and they want to get 3 points against Manchester United. That is a huge rivalry in itself.
They sure do. And the fans are singing at the top of their voices right now. Well, are we going to have a dramatic ending to this WSL season? I can't wait. I'm excited. It's time to hand you over to our commentary team today. Rachel Brown-Finnis is alongside Robin Cowan.
Thank you very much, Alex. Good afternoon, everyone. It all comes down to this. The final day of the WSL season, a record-breaking one for the league and for Manchester United. But in all likelihood, it won't be enough to secure their first ever league title. They must win here at Liverpool and hope league leaders Chelsea lose against bottom of the table Reading. Improbable, not entirely impossible. First and foremost, they must concentrate on beating a Liverpool side who are finishing their first season back in the top tier extremely strongly. Changes from the 3-3 draw against Aston Villa for Liverpool. Rachel Laws comes back in goal for Liverpool's Young Player of the Year, Faye Kirby. Kerry Holland returns in midfield in place of Miri Taylor. Shanice van der Sanden starts alongside Katie Stengel up front, with Natasha Dowie, who has 2 goals in her last 2 appearances, named among the substitutes. One change from the dramatic last gasp winner over Manchester City last weekend for United. Vilda Boarisa makes just her 3rd WSL start of the season in place of Hayley Ladd in midfield. Lucia Garcia, who got the stoppage time winner last week, is once again named on the bench. Liverpool are Nikita Paris's favourite opponents, having scored 8 WSL goals against them in her career. And Rachel Brown-Finnis, a couple of players you want to highlight ahead of this one, starting with Liverpool's number 7.
Absolutely. Missy Ball-Cairns, born and raised here in Liverpool, been through the academy system, and now player of the season for this season, and rightly so. She's played throughout all the youth age groups for England, and we're looking for that first call-up under Serena Wiegman, if not now, then in the very near future. Scored 4 goals this season in the WSL, and we're looking to add to that today.
And the 2 captains, Katie Zellem and Lee Fahy. Come together for the coin toss. Stacey Felix, the referee for today's crucial game. And Manchester United's number 7 as well, Rachel, you wanted to highlight.
Yeah, still young, Ella Toone, and in a very similar position to Missy Ball-Cairns, but her rise to the top has been monumental with the win this summer for the Lionesses, Ella Toone. She's had a quiet season though in the WSL with Manchester United, hasn't scored, you informed me, since November, and be looking to be involved and really spearhead the attack for Manchester United in front of a vocal away end behind Mary Earps' goal.
Both sets of players take the knee, as they have done throughout the season, to highlight the continuing fight against all forms of discrimination. And it's Liverpool in the red who get us underway here. Manchester United have the title out of their hands. All they can do is win and hope for what would be a miracle.
Early advantage to Liverpool. They started strongly. We've seen them do that against Chelsea.
Corner inside the first minute. And Missy Beaukearns will take in the sunshine here at Prenton Park. Takes it short, receives it back. Not quite the pass she wanted. Kerry Holland's through ball is blocked by Ona Batcher.
It worked well that for Liverpool. They were 3v2. Manchester United didn't go out and play 3v3. In some ways, Manchester United got away with that. Really positive signs for Missy Beaukearns. Liverpool.
Liverpool safe, but they might have a score to settle because they were thumped 6-0 at Leigh Sports Village back in January. Since then, though, they've had a very, very good 2023, and especially at home, all 6 of their WSL wins that they've picked up this season have been here at Prenton Park. Just 2 defeats in the last 8. It's a sign of a team that, you know, refused to get the flip-flops out and get on that beach, even though they have been all but safe for quite some time now.
Well, that 6-0 spanking was a turning point for Matt Beard and his team.
Here is Paris, native Liverpudlian. There goes Burrisa. Free kick.
It's a tad late from Kerry Holland, I think. But dangerous area. See, Burrisa just gets the ball ahead of it. Yeah, just a bit late. Jazz Matthews it was. In danger here. And you've got Katie Zellum, Ona Badge. I think it's Katie Zellum over the ball. Their quality is going to be unreal.
8 assists from dead ball situations from Katie Zellum in the WSL this season, more than any other player.
If I was Rachel Laws in goal, I'd be making sure I had the shot boxed off as well, because Katie Zellum could do that.
Zellum delivers towards Galton, who flicks it on. Header to Alessia Russo. Russo with a bit of space to run into. Finds Burrisa. Blocked by Koivisto. And out for another corner.
Lovely play from Russo, particularly drove inside and dragged players. Short corner taken quickly from United. Ramping up the tempo.
That's a really good run from Blundell. On the blind side, Letitia. Half-hearted appeals for a penalty there. Harris trying to work the space. United turning up the pressure, trying to pin Liverpool back. And a free kick. Zellum caught.
Standard attacking players attempt to tackle in there. Sticks a leg out. Shanice van der Sanden catches her. Should be fine. Katie Zellum. She's a tough tackling player herself. Expect to be on the receiving end as well. And Shanice van der Sanden working in a 2 up top with Katie Stengel, but they split really well. She'll drop a little bit deeper to get on it. Confuses the defenders.
Galton into Ella Toom, lovely link up between those two. Toom with the drop to the shoulder, to the byline. Off Russo. Great play from Ella Toom.
It starts, you'll see that the initial touch from Leah Galton, realise she can't control it and then go. Plays it first time to Ella Toom. 1-2 round the corner. And Ella Toom left-footed. just catches her out, and enough pressure from Gemma Bonner, but lovely little bit of build-up play to stretch out the back line of the defence for Liverpool, who weren't sharp enough to be able to keep up.
Mark Skinner has led Manchester United to an excellent season. They have Champions League football for the first time. And in negotiations as to where they're going to play their home games in Europe, might possibly, if all goes well, and the scheduling falls into position for them, it might be at Old Trafford.
It's unbelievable to be, well, it's not unbelievable, it's wonderful to be talking about such prospects.
On to Paris, former Everton and Manchester City. Matthews clears up, finds Van der Sanden, that's a lovely deft touch to Nagano. Holland sends it forward. Letitia in the right place, and she had to be, because Van der Sanden is absolutely rapid.
That's exactly Liverpool's game plan. Just needed a couple of feet over the head of Letitia, who's impressed with Manchester United throughout the whole of this season, is that partnership with Millie Turner.
Rousseau holds it up well. Blundell in space here.
That's what's impressed me most about Manchester United compared to Liverpool. They don't have off days, Manchester United. Liverpool have been seesaw, lost 6-0 to Manchester United, and then, you know, prior to that, beaten Chelsea, first game of the season. They've found that level of consistency to beat teams, Manchester United, and justifiably find themselves playing European football next season, if nothing else.
FA Cup final as well, which they narrowly lost to Chelsea, who, as it stands, will be getting a 4th consecutive WSL title.
Such improvements from this player, Leah Galton. Name on the team sheet every single week. A consistent performer, goal scorer, linker-upper, assister.
Norris with a little nudge, and a free kick for Liverpool. Guess they've been celebrating 5 years since their formation in 2018. And Galton, one of the original in this squad who started out with them in the Championship, has gone all the way through.
Yeah, and a few of those watching on the touchline as well. Some of the OGs of that 5-year setup will be celebrating that. The fans who didn't know women's team existed, because it didn't, and then it came into existence, and the big core of those fans have been there since day one.
Stengel, lovely feet. Plays it through for Holland. Van der Sanden with the cross. Earps was scrambling. No one there to put it in at the back post.
Shani Van der Sanden has done this for years. Off-the-cuff movements. Expose the width, got in between players. Lovely little ball, onside. It's neither, is it? Mary Earps scrambling, because you've got to get across in case a late run at the back post is on. Lovely little through ball from Stengel. Touch from Holland, but no finishing touch.
A lot of space here, not for the first time in this game. Hannah Blundell striding forward, Van der Sanden trying to match her. Pops it off to Galton, goes for the early ball in. Safe hand from Rachel Laws.
Good break from Manchester United, but matched exceptionally well. Out of possession, the determination from the Liverpool players to put pressure on. Forced that error from Leah Galton down the left. Good run from Hannah Blundell inside, tracked brilliantly by Van der Sanden. And a tame cross, because Koivisto got across and made it difficult for her.
Four times title winner with Chelsea.
I would argue that though she's won no titles with Manchester United, she's enjoying her football more than ever here at Manchester United, playing every single week, every single game, part of that pretty much unchanged back five other than Aoife Mannion coming in for a couple of games. Playing exceptionally well and must have caught the eye of Serena Wiegman this season on more than one occasion. In our picture, in for Hayley Ladd today. Hayley Ladd's been outstanding all season, that defensive midfield role.
Also scored a screamer against City last weekend. Second minute goal and then a stoppage time winner. The words Fergie time have been mentioned quite a few times in this Manchester United team.
We call it Skinner clock.
Zellen. Liverpool sitting deep. One down. Now two. Marisa. To Batcher. Now Russo, who's pulled wide. Against Taylor Hines. Well-timed challenge.
Yeah, excellent recovery from Taylor Hines. Previously at Everton, Taylor Hines. He's got better and better and better here at Liverpool.
Started every single WSL game this season, Taylor Hines. Defending to do from this corner kick, the outswinger towards Russo. A close call, but Liverpool managed to get it away, and here's Van der Sanden. Pulled down by Elatoon. Is this going to be a yellow card?
Has to be. Has to be. Shanice Van der Sanden, whether she's getting away or not, because Elatoon's got the speed. But she decides to commit the foul early on, allow her team to get back into position. You see what a touch this is from Missy Bolkians. This is the breakaway from Shanice Van der Sanden, definite pull, no arguments with the yellow card, but it's a lovely little turn on the edge of her own box from Missy Bolkians to get free.
So Manchester United there from their attacking corner looked a little light, and they've got to be wary of the pace of Van der Sanden.
It's exactly what how they set up and how they looked to be successful when they played Chelsea. And they were very effective, Liverpool, in doing that with Shanice Van der Sanden and having a more higher number 9. Today it's Katie Stengel. Natasha Dowie has done an excellent job since she's back on loan from Reading here at Liverpool.
It's a lovely ball over the top and a good touch from Batcher. It's Russo.
She's looked lively, Russo today, picking the ball up and jinking away. Great control, close control, movement. For a tall player, her feet are wonderful, her agility is excellent. She jinks away, but just a little bit of indecision, was it, towards when she finally plays the ball across, not picking out a player, looking for an area.
Van der Sanden trying to hold it up. Didn't have too much support.
She's lively though when she gets the ball. Van der Sanden won the European Championships with the Netherlands.
2. Allowed to come forward, assessing her options. Liverpool back in good number. Zellum. Galton.
excellent defending from Liverpool, absolutely brilliant. The way they banked up, got 5 back, and then the 4 in midfield right behind her. Shanice van der Sanden dropping into that bank as well, just made it so difficult. Once Ella Toon turned away, had another touch, they were banked up. Looking here, nothing really on Leah Galton. That's what she's shouting for, is a tug on her, a foul. But there's not enough in it to award anything against Niamh Fahey. It's a bit late from Leah Galton.
Just a reminder, as well as Manchester United needing to win today to take the title, they also need Reading to beat Chelsea. A draw will not do. If it is a draw, they need a 6-goal swing. Manchester United. It's after Chelsea made up the goal difference in incredible fashion. Big wins against Leicester and Everton. Now they're 5 better off.
Yeah, it's no coincidences. Basic maths go into that, and preparation is synonymous with Emma Hayes. So absolutely foreseeing that scenario.
Arisa under pressure. Slightly fortunate, the bounce of the ball. Strong challenge coming in from Taylor Hines.
The midfield have done an excellent job so far, Liverpool, in not allowing Manchester United time on the ball. They're harrying every pass, doubling up on occasions, really stifling that midfield.
Bolton to Blundell. Zellum in towards Harris. Russo. Out to Badger. Delivers. Away for a corner.
Well worked from Manchester United out to that right-hand side with Ona Badger, who's been so successful this season.
Another Zellum delivery.
Saw the signal, let's see what it means.
Turner was up there. And the Liverpool players hesitated a little bit there in clearing their lines. Toon. Arisa. Bonner sticks out a leg and clears her lines, and van der Sanden helps it on. Lovely ball from Missy Beaukerns, and Mary Earps off her line quickly, and there has been a goal at Reading, and this is not good news for Manchester United. Chelsea have taken the lead. A familiar source of the goal, Sam Kerr, on the end of a delicious cross. Trademark goal for the Australian, and Chelsea, as it stands, will be getting their hands on the WSL title for the 5th time. Here's Zellum for Manchester United. Even if they win now, they will have to settle for 2nd.
Well, United can only control what they can control, and their performance today, we want them to maintain the high standards that they've set themselves this season. Mark Skinner had a phenomenal season, only their 5th year of existence, 4th year in the WSL. What a journey it's been so far.
Should also mention that result would confirm Reading's relegation, no matter what happens in the game between Leicester and Brighton. Just 2 defeats for Manchester United in the WSL this season, and they both come against Chelsea.
There's definitely that level between, as close as they've come on occasions, but you've got to put it into perspective, haven't you, for Manchester United? They've not beaten a top 3 side until this season in their history. They've done that now. They're in places that they've never been before.
Toon. Blundell. Delivers low. Garno's done well with that. United with the vast majority of possession, but Liverpool looking very dangerous on the break.
Yeah, Katie Zellam's been at the heart of everything good so far for Manchester United. Who's calm in possession, Katie Zellam.
Harris goes down, looks hopefully for the referee, but play goes on. Zellam, now Blundell. Decent looking ball towards Paris, but tracked well by Hines. United continue to probe. Paris! Straight at Laws.
It's the first save that Rachel Laws has had to make. So for all the possession Manchester United have had, Liverpool are doing a great job in limiting what the goalkeeper today has to do. Decent header from Nikita Paris, but good positioning from Rachel Laws.
Flag is up against Shanice van der Sanden. Has been a goal in the London derby between West Ham and Tottenham Hotspur. Would you like a guess as to who got the Tottenham goal?
Not Beth England.
Another one.
Oh, she's doing all she can, Beth England, to get herself back in Serena Wiegman's squad, which will be the next focus for a lot of these players.
In second place, 4 points behind Chelsea as it stands, but the most points they've picked up in the WSL season, Manchester United, they have pushed Chelsea. Here's Blundell, Zellam. Nagano.
Forced it a little there, Nagano. Probably needed to come back, recycle it, start again.
Just away from Leah Golton. Eva Mannion there, slightly concerning, tweaked her knee in training, so not available for today, but Mark Skinner was hopeful that she will be available for the Republic of Ireland this summer at the World Cup. And no player deserves it more, just terrible luck with injuries.
Saw a picture of her receiving her award for the PFA Community Player of the Season. She had a full leg brace, and I was thinking, oh no, is that the knock? But I think that was an old picture from when she was working in the community and recovering from her ACL. At least that's what I hope.
Referee has got to stop play here. Kerry Holland down.
Pointing to her head, so the referee did the right job. Needs to be checked out. It's a hot one. I think her teammates will be happy of a little respite. Sip of water, bit of shade. Does get caught on the back of the head. It certainly was moving responsive straight away. And McCoy Visto's GPS being repositioned there.
Just add a couple more miles onto it, will you? It's a rivalry that's really yet to get going. Manchester United and Liverpool, historical one, especially in the men's game. But it's getting there. These Manchester United fans always show loud support for their team.
Yeah, whether it's rivalry, you know, against another team, or it's just genuine songs and support for their own team, I think that's where Manchester United are. You know, Liverpool Football Club have put on a fans, supporters bus for away games this season, which has made it more viable for away fans to go to those long and sometimes midweek and sometimes frozen off games that they travel to. But it's brilliant to see that fans are really getting behind their teams and enjoying some quality product on the pitch.
And they've seen some excellent wins here at Prenton Park. Van der Sande fancies a run. That's a good ball. Stengel trying to get away from Turner, stood her ground. Overstow. Holland into Van der Sande. Quite take it in her possession.
Trying to keep them in there though, aren't they, Liverpool?
This is what Manchester United have been so good at this season, playing their way out. Certainly got much better at it since the big defeat to Chelsea, their biggest in their WSL history. Leeds Sports Village last season, conceding 6 goals, and a lot of them were breaking out of the press. And they've just honed that.
Big part of that is Mary Earps and her skill set.
Risa lines it up, drags it wide.
A decent opening for Risa there. She'd be disappointed didn't hit the target. Seeing Hannah Blundell coming down this left-hand side, cutting in, has really made it difficult for Liverpool players to know exactly what to do, when to commit. And a good opening there for Risa, arguably the best one other than Nikita Paris' header. Certainly the strike.
Bonner diving in. Well, the referee has done absolutely nothing. Nikita Paris still down on the deck. It was a big touch from Bonner, and she'd stretched to try and get it back. And now the game is stopped, and this is going to be interesting to see again.
I'm not sure how much Gemma Bonner got of Nikita Paris and how much she got the ball, and whether it's Nikita Paris being the next Everton player. Well, no, it was a foul, wasn't it? She got Nikita Paris, and then, fortunately, to try and pull the wool over the referee's eyes, seemed to play the ball with her other foot, which you can see from the referee's position there, was shielded from being able to see that. So what the referee saw was the ball come off Gemma Bonner, but in reality, if we had VAR, nothing would have, it's not going to be re-refereed, is it, with VAR? It's not a red card offence, but it should have been a foul.
Here's the ref's view of it.
Yeah, sloppy play from Nagano to play that square ball to Gemma Bonner, who had to step onto it and knew that she didn't try and win the ball in that position. Nikita Paris could have been away, and for all Liverpool's hard work, one down.
think you're right, not quite a red, but certainly a risky one.
Thankfully, Nikita Paris's leg wasn't grounded because it wasn't a high tackle, but it was one that was out of control.
We see that sort of challenge so much, don't we? You lose the ball and you try desperately to make up for it.
As a defender, you know what's at stake, what the consequence of giving possession away in such a critical area. Nikita Paris has had a really good season. She's flipped it so that she's become the starter down this right-hand side. Lucia Garcia's had to sit on the bench for the majority of the season and be used mainly as a substitute. She's been really key on a lot of occasions for Manchester United. She's a constant threat and terror.
That cheer was at a man winning a header in the stands, and
Good lad.
Got good contact, to be fair to him. Needs to work on the celebration. Hines delivers. Free header for Koivisto. Stengel nearly got there. Mary Earps gathers, and the offside flag is up anyway.
Not had much to do, Mary Earps, but she's been very, very sharp when she's been required. Concentration is unflappable. Katie Stengel's a spoiler, isn't she? A party spoiler. There's 2 penalties in that first game of the season against Chelsea. Top goal scorer this season for Liverpool.
Got 2 in the last game against Aston Villa. Well-timed challenge this time from Bonner.
She's got better and better, Gemma Bonner, since she's come back in January from the USA, a stint out there for Racing Louisville. First game I saw play, looked a little off the pace. Probably what she left the WSL to where it is now is a different animal. Has adapted really well. I think she was a captain when they won the title, Liverpool, back in 2013-14. Enjoying being back home.
Good play from Matthews.
Rachel Law's a long-time servant of the club. Times has been excellent, but Faye Kirby, as is the goalkeeping circle of life, young pretender, given the chance after impressing in training. Clearly showed a very good attitude. Might be here to put her back in for today.
See Bo Kearns finds Koivisto. Van der Sanden, good movement. Turner Lotting will not allow her to turn. Oh, a couple of nibbles there on Van der Sanden. I think certainly fortunate there that assistant referee didn't give the decision Liverpool's way.
Yeah, it looked like Millie Turner had a little cut, a little swipe at the foot. Thought it was going to be given as a foul, but wasn't.
United have got into the box a couple of times. Half chances. Harris header, Borisa strike, but haven't really stretched Rachel Laws just yet.
One shot from, the one that went wide from Borisa, obviously nothing, and then the one header from Nikita Paris, I believe, is the only save that she's made. There's nothing she'll be putting on a CV.
I'd like to see a big list of all your saves on a CV. Be a good few pages long.
People still have CVs that exist, or just have like TikTok page or.
That's the wrong person.
Yeah.
Never had a proper job. Oh, Turner's ball picked up by Stengel. Takes aim, strikes it right into the midriff of Letitia.
Oh, yeah, that had a bit of hammer behind it, didn't it, from Katie Stengel? A player who played under Matty Beard out in the US, Katie Stengel. This one's a thunderous one. Sloppy. Giving away possession from Millie Turner. Absolutely belts it from point blank into the midriff of Letitia.
Tell you what, I would not be up on my feet as quick as Letitia in that situation.
That's why we hone a protective six-pack, being professional footballers.
Lots more football coming up on the BBC. A roundup of all the games from the final day of the WSL on the Women's Football Show, 11:20 on BBC One. Final score, the final day of the Premier League season. BBC One tomorrow from 5 o'clock. Premier League Sunday if you wanted to listen on the radio if you're out and about. Final day live on BBC Sounds, and that starts tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
It's a nervous time for the other half of Liverpool for tomorrow. See this tussle here between Koivisto and Nikita Paris. I'm watching it, but given the way Nikita Paris is very good at feeling contact, Nikita Paris, and earning her team's situations such as this.
Zellum. Laws can't keep hold of it, and it's sent over the top by Leah Galton.
Kerry Holland got in the way of Rachel Laws. She had to punch that really, Rachel Laws. It was an in-swing and there was a load of bodies in between her, and I was shouting punch, whether it's your own players or otherwise. The slightest knock, it can end up in the back of your net. You're brave, yes, of course, and actually it was quite low down, but it was never going to be a simple catch. But you know what, if she shouted for Rachel Laws, your defenders have got to peel away and protect you, but let you come for the ball. Rachel Laws has seen the flight of the ball, knows she can come and get there. And that's what happens, defenders, if you don't get out of the way of a goalkeeper. Glad she's all right though.
I'm sure a few of your former colleagues will attest to that.
Probably told the story before, came up to a very similar situation, but Emily Westwood, my defender, didn't get out of the way. And found out soon after she punctured along. Sounds woody.
That mistake again.
Did shout. Both teams having openings in these last few minutes. It's become quite open. Set pieces mainly for Manchester United are troubling Liverpool.
Reaching the final 5 minutes. Letitia, who was officially played in every single game in all competitions for Manchester United, 31 for the season. Ever present and has stayed fit as well.
And with the centre-half potential problems for England, she'll be firmly in the eye line. The backroom staff.
Might be a bit of a race for Millie Bright as well. Lily Williamson already out. New look back line in the summer. And so Mark Skinner has been talking about the recruitment and how important it is going to be ahead of the new season because of their participation in the Champions League. So they're going to need more depth.
Yeah, that was their problem last season. Remember, towards the end of the season, they could only name sort of 3 or 4 players on the bench. They've addressed that ahead of this season. They've seen the success that has come with being able to rotate players like Bo Risa, internationals on the bench, Lucia Garcia, international on the bench, among other players as well. But Mark Skinner is absolutely right. See the problems that Arsenal have faced fighting in Europe and on all fronts. You get a barrage of injuries, you're depleted in one area, and it hits you hard. So you'll be looking forwards, which is excellent. 2 priorities will be Ona Badje and Alessia Russo, whose contracts expire imminently. Getting them back.
The contact lens issue. Emma Bonner. Free kick for Liverpool then. It's going to be taken by Kerry Holland. Towards Stengel. We'll pick it up here. She held it up well, but couldn't find Missy Bo-Kearns, and now Ella Toone will try and lead the charge for Manchester United. Finds Russo. Just about keeps that one in.
Patient play from United, but the opportunity to carry on going forwards.
Going towards Paris, well defended by Matthews. Matcher. Well tracked, seen out of play by Kerry Holland, and there has been another goal for Chelsea at Reading. And it is Guro Wrighton taking advantage of an error at the back. Chelsea cruising towards the WSL title. Here's Batcher for Manchester United, stands it up. It's an awkward one. Russo nearly got there. Fahy, I think, got the clearance. And you could argue a bit of a high boot. And Leah Galton with a big challenge, sending Emma Koivisto out of play.
Yeah, she catapulted her off the pitch, and she hit that concrete wall that we can see her up against there. Can't tell particularly from that angle. I thought initially Galton had got the ball. It was just the force that shot her off the pitch. This is the chance. Ball in. Dealt with decently from Rachel. It's one of those real kind of awkward, unorthodox saves that you just have to get something on it to save it. Keep it from going looping under the bar. It's a cross really from Badje. She knows that. You have to make a very late decision, and Loza did decently well. That's a bad tackle from Leah Galton. She doesn't get the ball at all. Koivisto in a lot of pain.
Brick wall at the side of the pitch there, and this doesn't look good at all.
It doesn't seem particularly well thought out, does it? Just less than 2 meters off the side of the pitch is a breeze block wall. She certainly felt it, Emma Koivisto.
Well, there's a serious injury to a non-league player earlier this season. It's similar, something that probably needs to be looked at.
Thankfully, it's a leg they're looking at rather than anything life-threatening.
West Ham turns it around against Tottenham, and a Snurler, and then a Graham own goal. West Ham 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Two teams who will be in the WSL next season. Formerly of West Ham, Matt Beard.
And Chelsea.
Only Emma Hayes has managed more WSL games than Matt Beard.
Well, both these managers have been all around the women's game for a long time, haven't they? Matt Beard and Mark Skinner.
Into stoppage time, 5 minutes of it. We played 1. Just wonder if the Manchester United players have heard the score. It's Paris! I think Rachel Law's got fingertips onto that.
Definitely did. It was a wonderful ball from Katie Zellem. See Shanice van der Sanden screaming that nobody's put pressure on her, and with that, she can execute a pass beautifully. Great run from Paris, sits up lovely, and I'm sure she got a touch on that. Rachel Laws stretches out, yeah, definitely does make a save. Excellent save from Rachel Laws, just enough at full stretch. Does the right thing, Nikita Paris, goes across the goalkeeper, lovely strike. And at full stretch, Lawsy, great positioning, edge of the 6-yard box, makes that goal a tad smaller, and uses that wingspan to turn it round.
Couldn't really have hit that any better, Nikita Paris. There's a superb stop from Rachel Laws.
Clevy's still back on, thankfully. Taking the throw. Great save, and I tell you what, it takes some bounce back ability when you've been biffed off by your deputy for the last few games. Youngster coming in, Faye Kirby, who's done really well to come back and take it on the chin and perform as she has done today, Rachel Laws.
Van der Sanden. It's a poor ball in.
She's not done a lot wrong, Shanice van der Sanden, today. She's been a real problem for Manchester United. She's annoyed with herself that she couldn't be more cutting edge with that one. United are pushing hard in the last few minutes.
Still allowing a few gaps at the back for Liverpool to exploit. Fans not happy with the decision to hold the throw to Manchester United. Here is Zellem. 90 seconds of stoppage time to go. At times has been a tad flat from Manchester United, and just wonder if they have heard what's happening at Reading and the fact that they'll need a bit of geeing up maybe at half-time.
No, I don't think so, because I think Mark Skinner will have addressed that beforehand. You know, whether you do or don't hear on the pitch, it's irrelevant, because your standards of performance need to remain exactly as they are. You know, nobody will have given Reading a chance of getting anything out of Chelsea, and a win, convincing win by Chelsea is what is expected. So United needed to manage their emotions ahead of this game, and I don't think it's that. I think it's Liverpool who put them under pressure in the midfield areas and in possession, like they just did then.
Aston Villa leading at Arsenal, and another goal for Rachel Daly. Seems we'll be picking up the Golden Boot as well as the prize for WSL Player of the Year.
Been sensational from day one, Rachel Daly. Win at Villa Park against Manchester City, first game of the season. Just what the Aston Villa crowd needed, what the club needed.
Half-time then. Chances for both sides, the biggest ones coming for Manchester United, who haven't made the breakthrough. The big opportunities falling for Nikita Paris. The second one drawing a magnificent save from Rachel Laws. Liverpool looking organised, like they want to spoil Manchester United's party further.
Both managers will be relatively happy with the performances. Manchester United have built up steadily and with composure, dominated possession, but they just haven't been able to find that cutting edge. It's hard when you've got 5 at the back for Liverpool and a goalkeeper making brilliant saves, as Rachel Laws did, scuppering Nikita Paris at the near post for that header as well. So it's been a resolute performance from Liverpool, which has really held Manchester United to few and far between with regards to shots on goal.
Still yet to make the breakthrough here at Prenton Park. Half-time, Liverpool 0, Manchester United 0.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Robin. Yes, Liverpool frustrating this Manchester United team. Your thoughts overall, because is it hard for players coming into this knowing that it's out of your hands in terms of Manchester United today, Farah?
Yes, it's out of United's hands. I think Liverpool have been really well organised, a bit like what we saw a few weeks back when they played Chelsea, really frustrated Chelsea, and Chelsea narrowly got a result in that game. They've done much of the same today, but I just think Manchester United haven't had enough players on the pitch to take control of what's actually going on. They look like they're sticking to a game plan, rightly so, you would do that, but there's no one changing what needs to be changed within the game. So they haven't got any leaders on there that are going, actually, Liverpool are really difficult to break down. Can we find a solution in-game?
Yeah.
I think they're waiting for the half to get Mark Skinner's, opinion and changes. And I think it's too late sometimes. We'll probably see a completely different Man United team come out in the second half.
Will Mark's going to be frustrated with his team then at half-time?
Most definitely. I think the players will be frustrated as well. And I think what Farah said there about not having the leaders on the pitch to change it during the game could be the difference between winning a title and not. Yes, Chelsea are winning at the moment, so it's not going to be the end all here, but if you're going to take that next step up, you need players that can dictate the game, can make changes in game on the pitch and not rely on having to come off and get that information from your manager and coaching staff.
OK, well, let's give some credit to Liverpool, Farah, because they're set up and how they look really organised, and they're hard to kind of break through the ranks at the moment for Manchester United.
They are. They've got a really well-organised back five. You can see here, this comes from a set piece. You can see the defending really good. And then they try and break away, and actually they get a foul here in a I would say, a dangerous area. They could have had a breakaway from the corner. So defended the corner really, really well. But you see here again from another set piece. Again, they've got bodies getting on the line, and they'll end up stopping and blocking shots and actually making Man United really frustrated. And this is what Man United ended up doing quite a lot in the half, with shots from distance when there wasn't really a clear shot on for them. But what I think is Liverpool need to be better now in these moments. So there we can see Missy Bow just overhitting her pass. They can actually really counter-attack against this Man United team, because Man United are overloading numbers into the final third. Now, in those transitions, if Liverpool are better, they might just get a breakaway against this United team.
Because that's important, because you're saying they've got quality up top, and especially with the pace of Van der Sanden, but it's just that end product, Farah.
It's just how they use it. They're defending really, really well, and I'm sure Matt Beard is pleased with how they're defending. Then they have that first release pass, which is really good, and then it's the what next, and it's the what next at the minute is where they're finding them, they're struggling.
OK, well, what next for Ella Toone? Because when you look at her positioning today, Siobhan, it's kind of like she's got this role of freedom, but actually she's not being effective with it.
No, I think she's at her best when she has that freedom, because she can exploit players all over the pitch. You see here, she's picking it up in that channel on the left-hand side and nearly create something. But I think she needs to be involved in the game a little bit more. I think for me, when she has that freedom, but she stays central, here she's getting a late run centrally, and I think she's more effective there. You see there her loitering near the edge of the box, getting involved in the game, but she's not really sticking to one position at the moment. I think for me, if you want Ella Toone to help dictate the game and pick up those key pockets and find Alessia Russo, which is where Manchester United get most of their goals from, she needs to be in that number 10 position quite centrally, but still have that freedom within it.
I think it's okay giving players that freedom to play and create within that 10 role between the lines. you've got to be efficient with it. And what I think Ella Toone isn't being today is efficient with her movement. So she's running here, there and everywhere. And I think that's a little bit through frustration. I think if she was more efficient and disciplined with her role in that number 10, they might create more chances, Man United.
Does that become, let's pick up on the frustration then, because there's been not even just Ella Toone, you can see it in a number of players. Is that about the inexperience maybe, Farah?
A little bit of inexperience. I think there's a little bit of frustration with that. I think they're not finding the solutions to some of the problems. You can see here, Bo Risa hitting from distance when there's not really an option on. So I think it's more a fact of them not really finding the solutions within the game, Siobhan, to break down a really resolute Liverpool back line.
Look, they probably know that Chelsea are winning as well. The crowd here have made that evident. So potentially that might be in their heads as well, knowing that it's potentially gone beyond them and that frustration comes. But they have been creating some opportunities. Rachel Law's there with the slight tip to make it over. I think they just need a few tweaks at half-time and they can come out and be the more dominant team that we would have expected them to be before this game started.
Okay, Coach Farah, what are those tweaks?
Do you know, when you have a back line that are as disciplined as Liverpool are, sitting in that 5, I think you have to move them. At the minute, everything is played in front of this Liverpool back line, so it's quite comfortable for them to shift around play. I think you need more movement in advance, so those advanced runs to maybe try and drop the Liverpool back line off, and that's when you find your pockets. If no one tracks the runner, the long ball over the top then becomes on.
So like when Manchester United did get the chance with Nikita Paris, that's what they need more of.
I think so, and it's no surprise that it come in the 44th minute of the first half. They left it really late, but they ended up finding a solution. One direct ball, a good run from Nikita out to in, and then she manages to get a great shot. And Siobhan's a goalkeeper. She'll tell you a fantastic save from Rachel Laws.
It was an absolutely brilliant save. The ball in behind was fantastic, and Nikita Paris, who's been on form at the moment, hit that so sweetly. We were sat right behind it, and it's an outstanding save from Rachel Laws. She didn't have much time to see it, but she does so well to get a strong hand to it and tip it round onto that post. But it's the closest Manchester United have come, and I'm hoping we see a little bit more goal action at both ends in the second half.
Oh, we're all hoping for that. But is this where Mark Skinner actually looks to his bench, like he's done throughout the season, Siobhan?
I'm sure he will do. Lucia Garcia has been phenomenal for them off the bench. Rachel Williams, they're two players that I would imagine we would see a sign of maybe sooner rather than later.
Sorry, I've been distracted. They've just announced that Chelsea are 2-0 up at the half, and the Liverpool fans are obviously celebrating as it's against Manchester United. It just caught my eyes and ears and attention.
Well, Farah Williams, you've helped my next link then, because it's a great time to bring in the Chelsea and the Reading highlights then, because there wasn't much action going on here from the first half, so let's bring you the best of the action in that game.
The title is in Chelsea's hands. A win today will guarantee their 4th successive WSL crown. Harder. Perisek getting in behind. Kerrs at the far post. Sam Kerr! Oh, goodness me. Can you believe it? 12 goals in the last 11 for club and country. 238 in her career, 88 of those for Chelsea. In 115 games, you'd expect her to bury that. Chelsea corner, Eriksson up, Ingle in there as well. Crouch against the back of Kith's head, not yet away. Off the mark! Chelsea so unlucky. Erin Cuthbert played the ball into the box, followed a pass. Denied by the woodwork. Chelsea nearly 1 up. Wrighton trying to turn against Hendricks, and she did, and she got the cross in, and this time they don't miss. Sam Kerr almost inevitably puts Chelsea ahead. Wrighton with all the work, typically so. Wrighton did so well, Hendricks was behind her, slipped away from her and Kith. Pulled the cross back instinctively, knew where Sam Kerr would be, edge of the 6-yard box. It's a lovely cross, it's a super finish. Chelsea heading for the title, Reading are heading down as it stands. Still as hungry as ever for every piece of silverware. Zone towards Harris, beyond her. There's a little touch on in there by Hendricks, who stayed forward. What a good cross back in the middle. It should have been in. Arriving from the deep, Justin van Hevermaet. Should have scored. It's a lovely ball back in by Emma Mukandi. This is Wrighton in on goal, and Wrighton makes it two. They have one hand on the trophy now. She doesn't pick up the individual awards that other players do. She doesn't hog the headlines. But Chelsea know her value to this team, and that is goal 13 for her. Cuthbert with the ball over the top. Kith made the mistake. And Wrighton shot beyond Grace Maloney. Fine take, 2-0.
It's nearly in her hands once again for Emma Hayes. Let's have a look at the table as it currently stands. Yes, Chelsea will be picking up that trophy once again. And as it stands, Reading will be relegated. Arsenal still in that Champions League spot, and Manchester United 4 points behind the current champions. Well, Farah Williams, it's like what you know what you're talking about, because coming into this show, you spoke about two certain players, starting with Sam Kerr, Guro Wrighton, and they've both been involved in the action for Chelsea.
And they deliver, and that's what I was speaking about. The consistency of the pair of them have been phenomenal, and this is trademark Guro Wrighton down that left-hand side. The way she manipulates the ball and then just manages to dig out the cross, and to her teammate Sam Kerr, she would expect to get on the end of it. A fantastic delivery, and it sets Chelsea on their way to another title, Siobhan.
Yeah, as a goalkeeper, it's so hard to defend. She drags players out, pulls you to the near post and goes long, and you see here it's an awful mistake from the defender. But Guro Wrighton is in the right place. She's putting pressure on her, and she is clinical and she is ruthless, and that's what she's been like all season.
I think if they chose Player of the Season after this game, maybe Guro Wrighton might have won Player of the Season, because she's been phenomenal.
Well,
she's
actually,
my
talking
pick
of Player of the Season, the Barclays WSL Player of the Season went to Rachel Daly, who's actually been on the score sheet again already today. Just updating everyone on some of the other scores, because Aston Villa are currently leading Arsenal 1-0. Always goes to the strikers though, Farah.
I know it does. We don't look anywhere else, do we, other than the ball going in the back of the net. So it's really difficult. The assisters don't really get, as you said before the show, Farah didn't really get recognised for assisting the strikers. No, but it's very true. I think that, most of the competition, you look at Bunny Shaw, had a fantastic season for Manchester City, Rachel Daly at Aston Villa, and then obviously Sam Kerr, who won an award as well.
OK, well, I'm sure this discussion will continue later on this evening, because you can catch all of today's highlights of the action of today's WSL decider on the Women's Football Show on BBC One from 11:20. And you can listen to live F1 commentary of the Monaco Grand Prix on BBC Sounds, 2 o'clock on Sunday for that one. And keep up to date with every match from the final day of the Premier League season over on BBC Sounds, 4 o'clock tomorrow on that one. Or you can get on to Final Score from 5 o'clock on Sunday. Keep across all the action. So what do you need to see more from Manchester United right now, Siobhan, in the second half?
I want to see someone in the middle of the field picking up the ball and dictating play, whether that's driving forwards, whether it's committing defenders, sliding the ball through to Alessia Russo, Leah Galton, Nikita Paris on the right-hand side. If Manchester United are going to win this game and put on that challenge to maybe claw it back if Reading do something special, they need to start dictating play. And for Liverpool, it's more of the same defensively, but can they find Stengel, can they find Van der Sanden and be a little bit more effective and efficient when they do?
Well, either way, we would like some goals in this game, and Mark Skinner will want to see that from his star striker, Alessia Russo. Let's get you back to our commentary team. Right now, Rachel Brown-Finnis is alongside Robin Cowan.
Thank you very much, Alex. Yes, it might be a slight dead rubber now, but Manchester United want to end the season well, having won their last 6 in the WSL. I guess Mark Skinner would have said in the dressing room there, need to step it up, show the standards that you've set throughout this season that has been a good one.
Again, the girls at half-time were right. They need to be more cutting edge. They need to find Leah Galton down this left-hand side, because she's usually a persistent thorn in the side of any right back she plays up against, and has had very little other than upending Koivisto. She's clearly a little bit frustrated with her own performance and how little she's seen of the ball.
Well, we do wonder, will this be the last game in a Manchester United shirt for Alessia Russo? Out of contract. Big record-breaking bid for her from Arsenal in January, which was rejected. Happy report she's been offered a big new contract at Manchester United. Will the lure of the Champions League be enough to keep her and her best friend, of course, Ella Toon, together? It's going to be really interesting to see. But no matter what, futures need to be decided as quick as possible.
Yeah, and the fact that it's come to the summer, I'm not sure it gives it away either way, but I would love to see Alessia Russo stay here at Manchester United, become that iconic talisman up top, and maintain that excellent on-field relationship with Ella Toon.
Lovely play again. Flag is up. Two of them running through there, Van der Sanden and Missy Bo-Kearns.
She wasn't that far offside, but from our position, she did look like she'd just gone fractionally too early. Not the greatest picture there. Just see her leaning in where Millie Turner at centre-half had held her run back.
I think Missy Bo-Kearns definitely was. Van der Sanden debatable, and you could see there she was yelling at her to leave it. Blundell finds Galton in behind. A couple of options in the middle. Balls back to Hannah Blundell. It's well played. Zellum dispossessed. Stengel. Van der Sanden trying to make the movement. And buffeted off the ball by Letitia.
Like she just ran into the back of it. Emma Koivisto just looking at another war wound from that battle with Leah Galton so far. Leah Galton certainly started higher up. She's determined not to let Emma Koivisto gain territory. It's been a good battle and one to watch. Really much in that. She's certainly feeling something, I think. A little big in the ribs, a bit winded.
Still doesn't look 100% comfortable. Another good addition, that from Brighton. Good loss to them. It's Turner. Arisa sends it forward.
So they look to go direct, aren't they, as well? Mix it up, Man United, get the ball forward earlier.
Russo linking up. Trying to take fewer touches, it seems.
Yeah, they were ponderous at times and played the ball backwards on occasions, or square when it could have gone forwards.
Matthews' header presents itself to Russo. Zellum. Now Blundell. Lovely touch. Zellum. It's just run away from Nikita Paris.
Pace got beyond her, didn't it? Nikita Paris couldn't time her slide. Beautiful run, holds the line really well. Taylor Hines, just too much pace on that ball from the left-hand side, but excellent, much better build-up, and looks like Koivisto is down. ready to receive more treatment. Maybe her race is done today. Not sure if I saw something, but like her elbow had really swollen up, Koivisto. Oh yeah, can you see? Wow.
Big collision, wasn't it, with the
poured it with the, well, breeze blocks. Wow, that is some swelling on my elbow.
She's brave to try and continue, but I think they're going to have to make a change here.
Yeah, because I mean, arms are not just for goalkeepers, they're for running and holding players off, and you know, for all the outfield stuff that you should be in pain for, but that is a significant impact injury. Looks like they're going to try and compress it, stop the swelling, and you see her smash into the side of the wall. It's a contact, she's holding her leg initially, but she catches that elbow. There's no padding at all, no muscle around the elbow, it's just the bone that's exposed. So what a warrior.
Clearly she wants to continue, and they want her to try to.
Well, made it tough stuff.
Manchester City have taken the lead against Everton. Bunny Shaw on the score sheet. So that's 22 goals for Rachel Daly and 19 Khadija Shaw.
Yeah, neither golden boot coming from the top two teams. Interesting. But look at Manchester United, you look at Chelsea, they share the goals around.
Marisa dispossesses Holland. Russo. She does, dropping deep to try and start the attack. Liverpool back in a good shape. Here's Marisa.
Notice the second half, Leslie Russo's trying to stay more central, hold that central position, and so drift out to the left on occasions, more so than the right, but the ball was in the middle, she wasn't. Maybe that was an instruction from Mark Skinner.
Sharp turn from Russo. On to Blundell. Pursued by Van der Sanden. Goldson. Zellum keeps it going for Badger. Deflection might take it towards Paris. Goalkeeper came. Out of play.
There's a lack of communication somewhere. Whether it's Rachel Laws not giving the communication or Rhiannon Roberts, sorry, Jazz Matthews not listening to the communication. It's a two-way thing, communication. But it was Rachel Laws' ball all day. And now they've conceded a corner.
Beth England has another for Tottenham, 2-2. Alicia Lavin has made it 2-0 to Aston Villa. Marisa really worked its way through to the goalkeeper. Letitia towards Paris. Flag is up anyway.
I thought Nikita Paris should have hit that first time. It looked favourable. There was no defender in her eye line. She had the chance, but she's definitely offside. Leah Galton held her run well. Paris was offside. It's been a bright start for Manchester United. You can tell that they've been given a real G up at half-time, a real no-nonsense laying out of a plan for the second half from Mark Skinner.
Larissa. Thatcher. Ooh, Holland. Really, really bad challenge on Thatcher, and the Manchester United players are letting her know it.
It's a yellow card. It's no more than that. Just starting to chase shadows, Kerry Hollins. He tries to get a little tug on her shirt, can't get past her. Ona Badger takes a touch inside, she gets away from Holland. She swipes it.
Zeller flicked on by Russo. There's a bit of a heart-in-mouth moment.
Rachel Lawsby, pleased to see that bounce into her hands.
Stengel once again showing brilliant close control. Augusto takes a tumble.
He's a really strong, athletic player, Katie Stengel. Colton's on a yellow card. She does need to tread that line a little carefully.
Once again, Galton and Koivisto getting acquainted.
Yeah, just this time Koivisto just running across Leah Galton. Nothing other than just a plain and simple foul.
Easy take from Mary Earps.
Commanded that really well, Mary Earps. Early shout. Players get out the way, easy catch.
Thatcher onto Harris. Russo, that's a decent ball. Russo went for it and so did Rachel Laws, and that's another bad collision.
Laws is just brilliant to hold on to that because that was some collision. She's clearly in a lot of pain, as is Russo, holding her head there in our picture. Both fully committed to winning the ball. It's a lovely ball through. Gets over the back of Bonner. She does so well. Rachel Laws can't hang on to that ball when getting absolutely smashed into.
Concern for the way Russo landed here.
Yeah, well, her head collided with Laws's elbow, I think. Do you know what? They were both fully committed. Don't think there was anything that either player did particularly wrong. Certainly no intention to injure each other other than be fully committed to it. Great ball by Boa Reset. Splits the two centre halves. Yeah, it's one of those occupational hazards as a goalkeeper. There's a ball to be won and there's a player between. Unfortunately, it's irrelevant. But looks like Alessia Russo's going to get up and continue, which is great news. And it's about that time that Mark Skinner starts looking at his bench.
Russo up. Rachel Laws as well. getting the treatment from the fans behind her.
It's not a long journey from Manchester to here, but it takes a while, doesn't it, Robin? That stretch from Manchester to here.
Always. $5,778 inside Prenton Park. It's been a record-breaking season in the WSL. Here's another one, another record WSL crowd here.
Every new record puts a big smile on my face because it just keeps the juggernaut of women's football moving in the right direction.
Holland tries to slip it through for Van der Sanden. I think we were expecting it, weren't we? Hoping at least after the summer home Euros.
Yeah, but it was going to be always interesting how the clubs played them out, how many games they would have at the Premier League stadiums, which clearly helps, you know, getting 50, 60,000 at the Emirates and record crowds at Stamford Bridge and first game at Old Trafford.
Stengel's won it back. Here's Missy Bo-Kearns. Stengel towards Holland. United prevented from breaking quickly. Liverpool working hard to get back in their shape. Mary Earps has cleared the stand. Van der Sanden trying to G up the crowd.
There's Natasha Dowie warming up. She's an exciting player, Van der Sanden, to have.
Re-signed in the summer from Wolfsburg. He's played with Lyon as well. Still being managed. So picking up an injury in the warm-up at Chelsea, the game that was frozen off. Russo. Thatcher. Off Taylor. Claimed by Laws.
United fans behind were shouting for handball. So Badger hitting the ball. It hits a leg and bounces up. So even if it does hit her arm, it's not going to be called as handball.
Stengel. Just behind Holland. Matthews slips it through. The intelligent run from Stengel. Trying to get away from Letitia. Great skill, but Thatcher matched her. And Liverpool trying to fashion something. Van der Sanden's shot blocked. Liverpool now trying to apply the high press, winning the ball back in dangerous areas. Here's Nagano, and now Taylor Hines. Blocked by Paris.
This is better from Liverpool. Ignited by Katie Stengel. Powerful run, really strong, holding players off the ball. It's lifted the crowd.
Play from Paris. Under pressure from Holland. Finds Batcher. Russo up ahead. Hines stuck a leg out. Cross diverted away by Koivisto. Blundell, Russo, Matthews got a head to it. Paris, it just won't drop for her. Matthews clears her lines.
End to end.
Blundell. Bonner there this time for Liverpool. Nice play from Nagano. Holland up to Stengel. Trying to turn away from Letitia, and she has done so. Excellent play. Stengel. You can see what she was trying to do there. All a bit ragged. Outside of the right boot cross towards Van der Sanden.
Well, she burst away from May Letitia, didn't she? Spun out, used her strength to spin May Letitia there and get away from her. Put the rocket boots on, get past her. Just didn't quite have the skill on her to, or the pace on it to get round to Van der Sanden. Lovely turn. Oh, it's tight control, gets past two players here. See a little jink, little turn between the two. Does well to win it back after that as well.
A change for Liverpool. Janice Van der Sanden withdrawn. Natasha Dowie coming on in her place. Nee Fahy, who's also come back from a long injury layoff, comes off for Rhiannon Roberts. A poignant moment, you suspect, for her after 5 seasons at Liverpool. This will be her last match in a red shirt.
I'm surprised really. Rhiannon Roberts and Jazz Matthews have been 2 players who've played solidly for Liverpool, but ever evolving.
Dowie. First touch, straight into the action, Koivisto. Good save by Earps, still here for Liverpool. Hines. An excellent goalkeeping from Earps.
She watched that all the way. That was the most important thing, Mary Earps. See, Tasha Dowie's brought some real quality onto the pitch. Picks out a pass. Mary Earps gets dragged to the near post to make that save. Koivisto there tries to redirect it, and then Mary Earps gets up, and as the ball's looped over to the back post, she comes and claims brilliantly.
Manchester City leading Everton by 2-0 now. Lauren Hemp. Matthews.
I think Emma Koivisto's going to have to be sticking her elbow in the champagne bucket tonight. Last game of the season.
Is that recommended, Dr. Brown Finnis?
Absolutely. I mean, just to mention any mention of drinking champagne, just therapeutic.
Russo's cross, spilt by Laws and then gathered at the second attempt.
They just squirmed away from it. Decent build-up, Nikita Paris. Russo does well to hold a run. Plays it into that near post space. It's just Leah Galton didn't get across to the near post. Laws in, here's the changes.
2 players who enjoy a late goal. Rachel Williams and Lucia Garcia have both produced those sorts of moments for Manchester United this season. Getting ready to come on. And Khadija Bunny Shaw has her second and Manchester United's third against Everton. So 22 goals for Rachel Daly, 20 for Bunny Shaw. And here come the changes. Nikita Paris coming off. Another good day's work for Paris. Slightly unfortunate not to have got on the score sheet again against Liverpool. Lucia Garcia on after that incredible stoppage time winner against Manchester City last weekend.
Yeah, Nikita Paris walking behind, in front of the Manchester United fans who are all standing, giving her a standing ovation. She's put some effort, some energy in.
Ella Toone also withdrawn for Rachel Williams. Toone doesn't look too happy with that decision. She's taking her time.
And frustrating for Ella Toone.
Here's Galton. Zellum. Good intervention from Taylor Hines. She's had a couple of those today.
Yeah, she had to watch that go across and time a little toe poke perfectly, because it would have dropped for Lucia Garcia. It's a lovely little ball from Rich. Didn't see who the ball was in from, but it was a lovely weighted ball.
Taken short, Boarisa. Zellum offside.
Good defensive work from Liverpool. They saw the opportunity, steps up United. There's a back line.
Ella Toone getting a good reception. She makes her way around the pitch, back to the dugouts.
It's a great feeling, isn't it? Walking in front of thousands of travelling, adoring fans. Ella Toone. She had the very highest of highs with a win at Euros last summer, and this is back to the reality of football doesn't actually always feel like that. Sometimes it's frustrating and you don't quite get what you want. But she's a special player.
Goal scoring has taken a bit of a hit. Garcia flicks it over the top. We'll have another go at this. Garcia, she's done it again! Off the bench. To score for Manchester United for the second week running. Oh, she enjoyed that one, and so did they.
Fantastic. 3 minutes after she's come on, times her run beautifully, gets between the left-back Taylor Hines and Jazz Matthews. Little trick over, gets the ball away, gets a bit fortunate, but nobody presses the ball. They stand still, they don't address the ball, the defenders of Liverpool. And it just gives that bit of time, and that's why Mark Skinner stuck with his substitutions at a certain time on 70 minutes. Rachel Williams, Lucia Garcia, because the fresh legs, there's something different for the defenders to think about, and it catches them off guard. Brilliant execution, Lucia Garcia.
This has been used off the bench for the majority of this season. She will be a very important player in the next campaign, but it will be interesting to see whether she's happy enough.
But do you know what? Think how Alessia Russo and Ella Toone were used in the Women's Euros. They knew they were not going to start any games, and they didn't. They came off the bench at the same time as a duo every single time, and England won games because of it. Now, Mark Skinner's got no better examples in his squad than those two and how they were used to such great effect. So if you're concerned with your own individual minutes, or are you more concerned with how the team, the end product, the win that you're going to get your team coming off the bench?
So United into the lead, but Chelsea will still win the title from here. Ona Badger's cross is overcooked. They are slightly closer to Chelsea in terms of points, but because Chelsea are in a comfortable lead at Reading, it will be they who take the WSL title for another season. Arsenal, as you see, losing to Villa and only making it into the Champions League on goal difference.
Yeah, Arsenal's fall down has been pretty dramatic and consequence of significant injuries. And Koivisto's finally battered and bruised and swollen. Had a good afternoon.
On ice, is it?
Yeah.
Ice is there at least. So a double change for Liverpool. Missy Kearns off for Carla Humphrey and Koivisto off for Leanne Robe. Humphrey and Robe, incidentally, both playing their final games as well for Liverpool. All out of contract at the end of this season. And Martha Thomas also on for Manchester United in place of Leah Galton. Good ball from Thomas.
Well, with those tactical changes, Manchester United suddenly seem to have another level of momentum, another level of confidence, and putting Liverpool firmly on the back foot.
Marisa towards Williams and Thomas. Two substitutes nearly combining to good effect.
Yeah, Rich Williams really well, because the ball was just a little from Boa Risa, was a little overhit, and Rich Williams having to just stand up and lean. She's not trying to score with that header, she's trying exactly what worked out, which is to stand the ball up into the path of Martha Thomas, and she just gets underneath it, doesn't she, Martha Thomas? Souvenir for the travelling fans. This has been more like the Manchester United in this second half. Of course, Liverpool more problems.
TCA sends it forward, Bonner's header. Flag is up against Natasha Dowie. Garcia. Keeps hold of it beautifully. Give and go. Just overran it. Nagano was there to win it back. Here's Stengel. You can watch all the goals, all the highlights from the final day of the WSL season on the Women's Football Show tonight, 11:20 on BBC One. And tomorrow it's the conclusion of the Premier League season. Updates on Final Score tomorrow from 5 o'clock on BBC One, and you can follow it if you're out and about on BBC Sounds Premier League Sunday tomorrow from 4.
A weekend of football.
Pause for half a breath and then back to it. Here's Dowie. Good strength from Turner to hold her off.
Yeah, tough task for Millie Turner. Natasha Dowie is a proven goal scorer all around the world. Australia, Italy, Sweden. My last count, 11 clubs that Natasha Dowie's played for. Very successful. Me and her among our teammates and winning the FA Cup in 2010.
Thomas delivers low. Cleared by Matthews, up to Stengel. Not her best touch, but she's managed to get onto it. Letitia into the box towards Williams. Just the sort of ball she absolutely loves.
And that's what you can do when you've got Rach Williams on the pitch. You've got option not to just to play tick-attack of football, triangles. She's excellent with her feet, Rach Williams, but it gives you the option just to go long, to relieve the play, for there to be different decisions to be made by the defenders. There's been a clash of heads. Let's see if it's with her own player. I think.
It was Gemma Bonner who was on the end of that challenge. It was Leanne Robe, actually, who was pushed into her by Rachel Williams. Such was her enthusiasm to get to the ball.
Seeing it now, Rach Williams, eyes on the ball the whole time. Yeah, but she's very, very strong in the air. And you're right, it's the contact on the arm robe that shunts her onto Gemma Bonner. She's had an excellent game, Gemma Bonner.
An example of Rachel Williams' longevity. She scored a hat-trick against Liverpool for Birmingham in 2012.
2012. So many young fans here with their little heroes on the pitch. Mary, please sign my gloves. I could sign gloves for players, for fans, but you know, we didn't get free gloves all the time. We couldn't give them away. It's a very polite sign, asking to be sign your gloves. Money efficient, that.
Absolutely.
Not sure Mary Earps has the same problems nowadays, and rightly so. It's fantastic where the women's game is, and this is less fantastic, seeing Gemma Bonner. Blood gushing out of her nose.
Ever give any gloves away?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they want them?
Ooh, ropey that one, Robin. Yeah, they gave them straight back, well, thanks. No, it's wonderful to... I've seen some faces here today, fans who, you know, booed me or kind of welcomed me. Not today, but, you know, when I was playing or followed us, you know, the whole crew's here today, really. Siobhan and Alex Scott and Farrah Williams and myself all playing for England. And, you know, we've seen these fans and we've seen them grow, the support grow. What a goal, though. Lucia Garcia, left-footed, that little bit of space, that little bit of opportunity where there was no pressure on the ball, and just finds that little window down at the near post. Clinical finish, only a couple of minutes after she's come on.
Leicester have taken the lead at Brighton. Big bottom of the table clash, although both are safe because of Reading's current defeat to the champions Chelsea. Ava Baker with the goal for Leicester. Nice bloody nose to round the season off for Gemma Bonner.
A few ice buckets tonight.
Williams away from Lugano. To slip it through for Russo, well read by Matthew. She's had a good game. Dowie, Stengel. Again fancying a run at Letitia. It's a deep cross. Humphrey won't get onto it. She's really shown her technical ability today, Katie Stengel. Composure on the ball.
Yeah, been hampered by injury, not had too many 90 minutes in this second part of the season, but absolutely welcome back by the Liverpool fans and the players.
Barisa to Blundell. Garcia onto Barisa. Nice play from Williams, but just behind Lucia Garcia. And the procession continues at Reading for Chelsea. And Sam Kerr on the score sheet again, her second of the game. Chelsea will be lifting the WSL trophy later on this afternoon. We'll have coverage of that for you. And a change for Liverpool. Jana Daniels coming on for the final 5 minutes. Here's Carla Humphrey. Turner showing good strength under pressure. This is giving it away here. Change coming for Manchester United. Just a second appearance and first in the WSL for Lisa Nalsund. What a hit. She hit that beautifully. Fell nicely.
She'll be so disappointed because that set up so well. There was space, there was time. She kept her eye on it, but just either caught it too early so it rose off.
Manchester United fans making their feelings known. Alessia Russo off. Still question marks as to whether we will see her in a United shirt next season. And Lisa Nalsund on for her WSL debut. January signing from Brann in Norway.
Certainly not obvious farewell, goodbye, sort of wave off to the fans from Alessia Russo.
Big decisions to make. Garcia and her shirt tugged, still going. Lovely ball through, it's Batcher.
I think what Matt Beard will reinforce to his team is how little there is between these two teams at times when Liverpool have played their strongest 11, when they've been defensively excellent, really hard, hard to break down, and build on that for next season.
The record points tally for Manchester United in the WSL season, it's still not enough. Chelsea on the way to lifting another WSL trophy, their 6th. Garcia. Big impact since coming on. Not just the goal, but has been linking up well. Oh, that certainly looked like a foul there. Eventually the referee has given it to Manchester United.
Yeah, there was any doubt about that. Lucia Garcia Good trickery, staving off Nagano. You can see she's sort of, it's only Nagano falling on her, but sending her to the ground.
Heading for stoppage time here. Rachel Brown-Finnish, your Barclays player of the match.
Although the goal scorer is Garcia, my player of the match today is Vilde Borisa in midfield. Both her and Katie Zellem have been that difference for Manchester United.
A rare start for Vilde Borisa. Usually been that central pairing of Katie Zellem and Hayley Ladd, but impressed against Spurs when Katie Zellem, the captain, was suspended, and will surely be an important player next season as Manchester United embark on their first Champions League campaign.
Yeah, we described the depth, and that was a huge change in Manchester United from last season to this season. That's a prime example.
Well, Manchester United have made the fewest changes between starting 11s and the WSL, and Chelsea have made the most. I think that just shows what happens when you are going deep into all competitions. It's out of necessity. Chelsea have collected a group of players who can step up when needed. That is the challenge now facing Manchester United. Borisa. No one getting out to Martha Thomas here. Measures the cross. It's Garcia again, closed down. He held on to that a tad too long. Into 5 minutes of stoppage time.
There's not been a huge number of chances created, but for both teams and their supporters, there's been some good quality football. Very few mistakes and two very well organised and disciplined teams. Been some fiery challenges.
Well, as we talk about Manchester United, it's also been a very impressive first season back in the WSL for Liverpool. Rachel Laws makes up for her error there.
Yeah, a little fortunate. It was a relatively simple clearance, but she tried to keep possession and give it back to Bonner, but gracious Martha Thomas in just controlling it so she can dive on it. Rachel Laws has had an impactful game in goal for Liverpool today.
7th place finish after winning the championship last season is certainly not to be sniffed at. Bristol City coming up to the WSL next season to be replaced by Reading.
Previously been in the WSL Bristol City, so good to see them back.
Zellem shoots. Very difficult to beat Laws from that sort of range. Here is Rhiannon Roberts. Stengel helps it on to Dowie. Cross comes in away by Thatcher. Here's Holland. Handball is claimed and not given.
They've lost something, haven't they, with Van der Sanden coming off and having that number 9 of Kate Stengel, but then having that more free-flowing speed demon of Van der Sanden. It was a good combination. There's Rach Williams, the immovable object.
When she is moved, she just gets straight back up again, gets on with it. There we have it. Manchester United led the WSL table for 105 days, but they've been pipped at the last by Chelsea. Lucia Garcia got the goal to beat Liverpool to make it 7 WSL wins in a row, but it wasn't quite to be. Still, their highest ever finish in the top tier, and Champions League football to look forward to next season.
You've seen Mary Earps embracing with Ian Wilcock, the goalkeeper coach, what that means to them to finish in that second place, and all of these players will be desperately looking forward to their first ever European adventure. There's a Manchester United outfit, and she has been absolutely key to everything. 14 clean sheets now for Mary Earps in the WSL. It's been a huge part of that team and part of the process, along with Mark Skinner. The fact that they've got experienced players with young players, something special at Man United.
So no title, but a winning end to the season for Mark Skinner and Manchester United. Full time here at Prenton Park. Liverpool 0, Manchester United 1.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Rachel. Well, we got a goal in the end here. Manchester United, on reflection of their season, it's still so much achieved for that team. Such a young team as well, Sayo.
I think when they have time to reflect and time to look back, there's so many positives they can take from this season. To have got that Champions League place, to have been fighting for the title on that last game of the season, to have got to an FA Cup final at Wembley. There are so many positives, but yet today it will hurt them. They'll know that they haven't quite got anything to show at the end of the season. They haven't got that medal to go around their neck. But that's enough to say next season, look, that's where we want to be. We need to improve, we need to grow, we need to push on. And that little dangling of that trophy just in front of them so they can see it, it's close enough to smell. That's going to motivate them to go one step further next season.
Yeah, just under 3,000 travelling Manchester United fans here today to see their team off. As you can see, just Mark Skinner getting his team in a huddle right there, Farah. Yes, it's going to hurt, but they are a young team, and maybe that's going to be the motivation they need for next season. It's been so close.
They have. They've pushed Chelsea, they've pushed Arsenal, Manchester City all of the way. They've held, they've sat at the top of the table for pretty much most of the season, for long periods certainly, and they've done a fantastic job. They are a very young team and with lots of room for improvement. I'm sure Mark will be, he's saying that to them now. They're going to add to this squad that have had many of different experiences this year that they haven't had before. So you have to experience things, i.e. losing in an FA Cup final in front of a sold-out stadium will give them that experience to move forward with. Losing here today, knowing that they potentially could have won the title, will give them another experience that they'll take forward. And you can't buy experiences. So for them, I'm sure that as much as it will be hurting right now, they will come back stronger next year. And I'm hoping they push Chelsea even further next year.
Well, as you can see from the scenes there is a trophy here today. Maybe it's the player of the season that looks like it's gone to Hannah Blundell.
I think it's their player of the season, and one that's very well deserved if it is. She's been phenomenal, she's worked hard, and she's a player that doesn't always get the credit. We've spoken a lot today about players that go under the radar but are so important for their team, and Hannah Blundell is one of those for Manchester United.
Right, Baxay. Right, let's leave the scenes here at Prenton Park and take you over to the Reading-Chelsea games where we can see all the reaction. Champions once again, Farah Williams, smiles on faces. Emma Hayes continues to build this Chelsea team and pick up trophies.
It's phenomenal, the achievement of Emma Hayes and her players. It's credit to the players as well. To keep going, to keep competing at this level consistently is very difficult. But to win your 4th WSL title on the bounce takes some doing. And they had a depleted squad at times this year in terms of their starting 11, how they would have liked to played. They would probably, if you was to ask each individual player, this is probably their toughest title challenge, you know, in the last 6 years. You know, they've won 5 in 6, so it's certainly been the toughest for them. But I think with the injuries that didn't help, and we obviously know Arsenal didn't have a fully fit squad all season with their depleted squad due to injury. So it's been a difficult season all round, but for Chelsea to come out on top, you know, it takes some doing. And, you know, Emma Hayes there, we can see on the screen, and what she's done with these players, because she gives these players that little bit of ownership that you need in order to win titles.
Yeah, and it's actually a hard one. So we're seeing the celebration scene there, but actually we need to talk about Reading, because as you can see, Chelsea winning in that game does confirm that Reading are relegated. Your former team, Farah, so we'll leave you out of this for a moment. You can think about your emotions, but it's a devastating day for Reading.
It is that it's a team. They're a team that have been in the Women's Super League for a long time. They've competed well. They've had some fantastic players. I won't big her up too much, stood next to me, but they've had some fantastic players in their squad. But they haven't been good enough this season. At the end of the day, they've been beaten. They probably aren't one of the better teams. They've struggled to maybe invest as much as you need to compete at the top of the table in the top league at the moment, and ultimately that they've suffered and they're getting relegated. It'll be interesting to see what they do next season, whether they decide they want to continue investing in the team and try and push back to get in the WSL, or whether they're happy being a championship side.
Yeah, you can see it right there. Mark Skinner going over to the away fans, all the travelling fans that have come here. But let's stay with Reading, because obviously you know a lot of the players, the managers there. It's going to be hard to take, Farah.
It's heartbreaking, and it's really difficult to look at the table and even more so look at the performances of the team this year. When I joined Reading from Arsenal, their DNA was their work rate, a little bit of heart and passion, and this Reading team this year, in my opinion, haven't showed that grit and determination that they need. When you don't have the best of players, hard work sometimes just gets you over the line, and for many years under Kelly Chambers, they did that. I don't know whether it's a recruitment. Obviously, they lost a lot of finances, obviously, with what was going on at the men's club, so they probably didn't get the players in that they potentially needed. But I can assure you the work that Kelly Chambers puts in at that club, it is phenomenal. And they don't deserve to be where they are, and hopefully she stays a part of the club and helps to bring them back up. But who knows now, going down, what actually happens to the club, because we know it can be a struggle to get yourself, you know, back into this WSL one.
Yeah, one of my favourite quotes, always been, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
You should have been motivating these Reading players at the beginning of every game, Alex.
Instead they put me alongside you, Farah. But also, the table also confirmed. Second, obviously, Manchester United and Arsenal. So both of those take those Champions League spots.
Yeah, and it's a difficult challenge as well. It's not just straight into Champions League group stages. You've got to go through that qualification process. We saw that with Manchester City last season. They played Real Madrid and couldn't make it through on that short turnover of pre-season at the end of a tournament. It's difficult, so it's going to be a tough ask for Arsenal and for Manchester United to get through that process into the Champions League proper, and that's where squad depth and squad strengthening is going to be really key.
Yeah. What do you do now at the end of the season for Manchester United that have been so close, Farah?
Go and have a rest. It's been a long season for all of these players. I think they probably need to rest. I think they need to switch off for a little bit. They've got a big tournament coming up in the summer. So I think they need to rest, and I think they need to look back. They've had a phenomenal season. I don't think anybody at the beginning of the season would have thought these Man United players would have pushed Chelsea to the wire and would have got to an FA Cup final. So they probably overachieved a little bit. Outsiders looking in, but probably inside they probably had those targets at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, because Mark Skinner has been saying that he feels that people haven't given Manchester United the credit they deserve. But I think everyone has been applauding them on what they've done.
They have been. I remember the very first session that we had with Manchester United. We sat down and we spoke about what our goals were, short-term, medium-term, long-term. And this was a definite goal, and they've come here and they've achieved it.
Okay, well, we've seen her teammates right there. We've got two goalkeepers here beside us now. Mary Earps, well done today. Congratulations on an overall season. What are your reflections?
Yeah, I think it's been good. Obviously, I think we've probably maxed out on our potential in terms of running with Chelsea right to the wire. I think it's nice that it's that close, but we know we've got some ways to go. So, yeah, good season overall. Happy for the defence that we got the clean sheet record as well. Just going to drop that in there
because we love a clean sheet.
That was part of the big celebration at the end, really.
But look, like you just alluded to, you have disrupted the conversation with the top three this season.
Yeah, I think it's about us doing it consistently now. I think like we've come so close for a few seasons, but realistically, you know, we haven't quite had the team to make it happen. And I think now it's just about recruitment, and hopefully people want to come and play for the big Man United in the Champions League, and we can get hopefully keep the stars that we've got and get a couple more, and then really go for the silverware now.
So you've obviously got Champions League for a top player. That's an attraction in itself. Yeah. You've got a young squad. Yeah. They would have gained some experiences. Do you think you need to add a little bit more experienced players to take you to that next level?
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. I really think like the squad's done so well this year. It deserves a lot of credit. Like it's not easy, and we've got a lot of young players who've maybe not played in the top pressure moments. And I think obviously the Lionesses who were there in the summer, that helps, you know, kind of drag the team through. Yeah, but we need more. We need experienced internationals to come in and top up that quality, but also know how to grind it out in tough moments.
You talked about the consistency that you've had in the team. That back line has been so consistent ahead of you. Is that one of the reasons why it's been so successful?
Yeah, for sure. I think, what do they say? Strikers score goals and defence wins championships. Sorry, you got a goalkeeper on here, so I don't know what you expect. But yeah, I think for sure, I think the whole back line's been incredible, and some of the players that have come off the bench as well in defensive positions. And I know the team would like me to say that defence starts at the front as well. So yeah, credit to the full team. We've done a great job. Yeah.
So the consistent back line, you've got obviously the clean sheet record. Urfa Pond, who's on my podcast, is always raving about Drake next to me, calls Mary Earps Drake.
Shout out Urfa.
Saying that, what area then do you think that you really need to get some more depth within the squad? Do you need a challenge as a goalkeeper? Have you got good competition there for you?
I mean, I'm good regardless. I compete with myself. I think Baggers has been unbelievable as well this year. We've got such a great dynamic. I think it's just about adding quality. I don't want to name positions. I think that's the manager's job. But yeah, I think all over the pitch we need a little bit more depth. And people who can, like, you can see Lucia coming off the bench today, what that does when you've got that breaker pace and that breaker quality to just kind of add to the game when you need it. So yeah, I think a little bit all over the park. Let's just get everyone in.
What a good teammate, not digging anybody out. It's all right.
Let's talk about you though, Mary, because it's been an exceptional year, an exceptional season as an individual, and the trophies that you've picked up. How do you feel?
Yeah, just tough really. I'm really blessed. Like I feel like, you know, you work so hard for years for this kind of stuff. Like, it seems like a mad maybe like 18 months, 2 years, and I sort of like pinch myself when I'm looking at the cabinet a little bit at the minute, and I just want to keep winning. Like, it just makes you more hungry for success. You think you're like, oh yeah, sweet, like I'm good now. I'm not, I want more. So I want to go win the Champions League now. I know we just finished second, but if we can, Champions League trophy, that would be great.
Okay, well, before that, you've got a World Cup though, so switch your attention to that one and then Champions League
All
after.
Right, will do.
Okay, thank you for joining
guys.
us, and
See you later.
congratulations for the season. I'll take it if you want. Mic drop, there you go. Okay, right now, as we let Mary get back to her team, you see Alicia Russo right there. A hint of a smile, but disappointed because she's a winner. She wants trophies, Farah.
She is. I think they all are. These young players, especially the Lionesses, with the success of the summer, they've come off the back of that and they want more. They're hungrier for more. We just heard Mary Earps say there, her cabinet is, you know, is growing, and she wants more from that. So I think that taste of success with the Lionesses has really made them want to get it here domestically.
Okay, it's time to leave Prenton Park and the selfies being taken right there for the fans by Russo. Let's get back over to the Reading and Chelsea game, as it's time to see the champions lift that trophy. Let's join Jonathan Pearce.
Emma Hayes is the first one forward then for Chelsea to pick up another title-winning medal from Dawn Airy, in chair of the WSL. The wonderful Kelly Simmons, the director of women's professional football in England, is there as well. She departs after this summer, Kelly Simmons. She's done a wonderful job. Emma Hayes, another title to add to the previous 5. Up comes Sophie Ingle and Erin Cuthbert. Ingle, 38 games, only missed a couple in all football. Erin Cuthbert, not far behind her. 6 important goals for her, 3 in the last 5 games of another meteoric season as they add that trophy to the FA Cup they've already won. It's a 4th double in 6 years. Here comes Guro Reiten. Another goal for her today. What a wonderful campaign and what a terrific signing she has been on that left-hand side. Superstar. Every team needs a Guro Reiten, and here, talking of superstars, the global superstar, Sam Kerr. 2 more goals for her. 29 in all competitions for Chelsea, now 90 in 116 games. Footballer of the Year. I listened to her make that speech on Thursday night in London, and it was an eloquent speech. It was a speech full of ambition and drive and love of the game. Yves Perisset, the right back from France, had a terrific campaign as well. And Melanie Leupolz, back from maternity leave to play her role this season, the German international. And up they come one after another. The experienced Maren Mjelde, back from a horrible injury this season, to play an important part. First choice centre-back alongside Magdalena Eriksson towards the end of the season. Absolutely so popular with the Chelsea fans, she forgot to embrace her coach. Here comes Jess Carter, another who has had a magnificent campaign, not just for club, but she's really broken through now as an England regular. 3 games in the Arnold Clark Cup. She would be a favourite for Serena Wiegmann's World Cup squad. Serena is here today, and watch this one as Ann-Katrin Berger goes through. A 14th clean sheet for her today. And so the procession continues. Katrina Svitkova, who didn't play today. Jess Fleming, who came off the bench, the Canadian Olympic gold winning medalist, gets a Barclays Women's Super League medal around her neck. And Niamh Charles auditioning today, perhaps for an England squad place in front of the watching national coach, playing at left back, showing her versatility. She's only missed 1 league game. And the Chelsea players await the crowning moments of their season. Any moment now they will get the trophy in their hands. They've all played a role, be it Jelena Cankovic going through, be it Zecira Musovic, the substitute goalkeeper who had a run of games when Berger wasn't fit. And Emma Hayes played a lot of them today. Here comes Pernille Harder. Listen to the roar. Her final game as a Chelsea player. Magnificent for the club. Great talent. Thank you, Magda and Pernille. Harder with 45 goals in 81 games for the club. And the squad players come through now. Alsu Abdelina is at number 27. She was on the bench today, just making her way through. And an embrace from the coach for the young 22-year-old defender. Russian defender Abdelina, been at the club now a couple of years. Leisha Buchanan, another Canadian gold medal winner from the Olympics. He's had to be patient with her time, played just 3 minutes of the FA Cup win over Manchester United. Sat on the bench today as they completed the double. The popularity of Lauren James growing all the time, as she is as a player. She was brilliant in the first half here today. Deceptive runner on the ball. Has 8 goals, a breakthrough season as a scorer. Really with Chelsea, injury hit in her first campaign. Blossoming for club and country now. Fran Kirby, after surgery, out of the World Cup, very much part of the champions. And Emma Hayes cherishes the fact that she's going to be stronger next season. Had the dark periods in her life and her career, Fran Kirby. And when she smiles, it lights up the place. Millie Bright, another to have missed the end of the season through surgery. England hope, and Chelsea hope she'll be fit to go to Australasia. The tail end of the summer to be fit for her country. Has emerged in the last 2 or 3 years as an international player of real quality. And she will, I think, put the medal around Magdalena Eriksson's neck. Nice touch this, and indeed she does. For so long this season they've been paired as centre-backs, and that is a lovely touch. Tears on the pitch, 1 or 2 tears in the commentary box, I can tell you. Magdalena Eriksson has the trophy in her hands. A handshake and an embrace for her coach, the remarkable Emma Hayes. And she climbs towards the podium topped by Chelsea yet again. Eriksson and Bright lift the trophy. And so the celebrations can start. And the fireworks and the flares and the confetti and the scenes that mean that Chelsea are WSL champions for a remarkable 4th year in a row. The closest title race we've seen, the biggest crowds we've seen, the biggest noise about WSL football. It means the growth of women's football in this country is magnificent. It means there are pathways now for young girls to come into the game and succeed in football and in life. And by and large, those players there have played a major role in that. Chelsea champions, it means so much for them, and this season has made so much for the game. Chelsea, though, top the lot again.
Thank you, Jonathan Pearce. Great scenes, Farah. I know you've got a big smile on your face. A hat-trick of doubles there for Chelsea and Emma Hayes. It is remarkable.
Yeah, you've said it. I think it is. I think it's so difficult to achieve it. We don't often see that, and they probably don't get the credit they deserve because people get bored of seeing the same team be successful year on year. But it's such a difficult achievement, and they've done it so well. And the work that Emma Hayes and her staff and the players put in behind the scenes in order to be able to achieve what they have takes some doing.
Well, look, when you think about the whole season, and if we're throwing it forward, there's so many moments that you can celebrate. Record attendances, obviously the cup final. How do we now move it forward once again?
I think you've got to keep doing it. I think you've got to get more games in those big stadiums, but not just in big stadiums if they're half full. Can we fill them every week in, week out? The more games you can get in there, the better, but they've got to be full. You've got to have good atmosphere. You've got to have good energy there for the players. More TV. It's been brilliant this year, the amount of games that have been live on TV, and that's how people can sit there and watch it at home and say, I want to be there. I want to be aspiring to be this player. They're my role models. Or I want to go and watch a game in person. Get more bums on seats. Stadiums full. TV audiences up. More investment. Everything that's going well at the moment for women's football. Can we do more of it?
Is there small parts in that? So when you think about scheduling as well, because if you think about, we've just come to the end of this season, it's 2 months the players have to wait before they go and play in a World Cup. So obviously the clubs want players to rest, but the players want to meet up with the national team because they don't want to be resting. They've got a big summer ahead of them.
Scheduling needs a big look at, I think. Whoever does all the scheduling, whether it be international, whether it be club, needs to be looked at. We rushed back after a Euro, so the players off the back of a huge summer in terms of, the Lionesses were away for nearly 12 weeks. That's a long time to be away with then not so much rest before they then come back into a pre-season. Does the WSL season have to start at the same time as the Men's Premier League or there or thereabouts? And then end when it does now and leave a big two-month gap, as you mentioned there, Alex, before another tournament. So they probably could have rested a little longer after the Euros, and then the end of this season might have been closer to the World Cup with a little short rest, so the players are prepared and probably in better condition than going into a World Cup.
Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it, when you think about what you would want as a player going into a World Cup. You understand that your club wants you to rest, but as a player, you want to be as fresh and match fit going into a World Cup.
You do. You want to be physically ready. You want to be mentally ready. You want to be sharp and ready to go into the biggest tournament of women's football that has been so far. This is going to be huge, this World Cup. And England have a fantastic chance there. But you don't want to be resting for 3-4 weeks before you go. You want that rest to come afterwards. You want to come home with the trophy, celebrating, and then have that rest period so you can then have a proper pre-season to be back in good physical condition before you start again. I think we saw it last season with Manchester City. I think they had about 2 weeks after the Euros final before they went into that Champions League qualifier against Manchester City. That's no way to prepare for what was probably one of their biggest games of the season. Manchester United and Arsenal don't want that going into their Champions League qualifiers. So it needs to be a good process of managing that preparation and recovery.
And then when you do come back next season, we just need to mention Bristol City coming up and come straight back into league, but they don't get no parachute payment, Farah.
They don't. I think it's all changing this season, so it's disappointing for them because financially you need some sort of support in order to then be able to get the right players in, at least to give you half a chance of then competing in a WSL 1. The gap's becoming even bigger from top to bottom, and obviously these teams that then come into league really, really struggle. And we've seen that with Reading, who are established WSL 1 team now, financially struggle to compete. And I think that's going to be really difficult. You have to recruit in the right way now for Bristol for them to give them a chance of staying up. It's going to be difficult.
It is going to be difficult, and that's what Hope Powell always used to talk about, is trying to create that parity so everyone's got the chance to compete. All I can say is thank you so much, Farah Williams. Throughout the season, you have been a delight. And Siobhan, thank you for joining us today. Well, we have to say once again, it's a huge congratulations to Chelsea, who are once again WSL champions. Can anyone stop their dominance next season? We look forward to seeing it. Couple months off now, but we will be back on BBC for the small matter of the Women's World Cup. Until then, goodbye.
We're off and underway to begin the new 2022-23 Barclays Women's Super League season.
Newly promoted Liverpool have beaten the reigning champions Chelsea.
What a goal! WSL history for Aston Villa.
James, oh, that's brilliant! Manchester United's unbeaten start is over.
Would you believe it? Arsenal's winning run is over.
And Sam Kerr scores against Arsenal to level it up.
And she brings it down superbly. The champions are back on top of the table.
It's Hemp! A statement win for Manchester City.
Arsenal strike another blow in this topsy-turvy WSL title race. Rousseau! Manchester United 4 points clear at the top of the table.
Millie Turner off the bench. Manchester United keep their title challenge alive. It wasn't pretty, but Chelsea get the job done.
Erin Cuthbert, the champions, return to the top of the table.
Job done for Chelsea. Over to you, Manchester United.
Garcia! The title race goes to the final day.
The title is in Chelsea's hands. Saka! And Wrighton makes it. Chelsea are champions for the 5th time in 6 glorious years.